Sounds good. Well, if I hit all the right buttons, we are live again on YouTube for another episode of Talk Power BI. Hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to click subscribe. We are live again on YouTube for another episode of Talk Power BI. All right, that's never good. You don't want to hear me twice. All right, so if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do click that bell icon so you're notified whenever we go live to answer your Power BI questions. Today is a special day, very special day, and I can't wait to talk about that because today we are kicking off our brand new program. And I'll talk more about that, but I just want to say hello and welcome to everybody. First, let's see who's on. Come on, guys, don't be quiet, don't be shy. I see one hello up there. I can't read the name, interestingly. It's weird. So yeah, if you're joining us online, go ahead and type a hi. We do have our moderator, Steve, and he'll be keeping an eye on the chat. Although we don't have a specific topic today, so I might be a little more attentive than usual. Steve, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Avi. Doing great.
All right. Cool. Hey, yeah, I want to circle back and check in more with you. But Jonathan says hi from France. Christopher Hastings is here again from Olala, Washington. Good to see you again, Christopher. John Milson says hi from Idaho. Hello again. Awesome. Geert, my friend. So Geert is one of the Learn Power BI members. So Learn Power BI members also, can dial in. Well, that's all good. So says hello from Denmark. We have hi from Lagos, Nigeria. Loretta Sue. Gosh, I can't speak straight today. Always good to see you here. So she's in Tampa, Florida. Works at the university. Great. If you're in the education sector, connect with Loretta Sue. Awesome. So folks, Ravi sends from India. Awesome. Great. End of the day for you there, Ravi. I'm sure. Hans says hi from Brussels. There's UK. So okay, I'm always happy to have you guys here. It's crazy, right? I mean, so I try not to. Sometimes technology kind of betrays us. Sometimes it betrays us when we need it the most. But yeah, I try to be cool about it because it's just amazing, right? I mean, gosh, this is pretty phenomenal. Hanging out with all of you here. So today is today we don't have a set agenda. We don't have a specific topic in mind. So yeah, we're here to kind of take your questions. Maybe we'll open up the phone line sooner and go from there. But I did want to say that today is an exciting day. So today we started the journey on our 6 figures Power BI professional program. And let me see if I can. Can I bring something up? Let me see. Some kind of visual. There we go. So if you've been following me, and I'll be brief about it, but because I do want to get to your questions, I want to be helping you. But the idea had been in my head for a long time. And initially the premise was simple, which was I had seen that Power BI technical skills weren't enough. In fact, I think in general, technical skills are never enough because a lot of times people get stuck in the rut. I mean, it's just they don't. So I was cranking out lots and lots of reports in Excel, and it's possible that you go to Power BI, but you're still kind of cranking out reports. So I didn't want that for my students. So that was the premise behind this program. But it's been quite a journey. For one, I had to gather up the courage to step up and offer it. There was that inner voice in my head. It's like, hey, this is a stupid idea. Don't be stupid. Who are you to be teaching this? Just go back to Power BI. But I also knew that wasn't enough, right? That wasn't enough in a lot of cases. So, yes, that's been a great process. I've talked to a whole bunch of amazing folks, and we wanted to make sure that this is the right fit. And I knew this is a very specific program, not a right fit for everybody. So a lot of calls, we both said that, yeah, it doesn't work. But we do have a very nice and round number. I'm pretty happy about that. We have 10 amazing members in there. So I think, I don't remember who it was. One of these people who joined, I think, so we were having this conversation and I got more clarity about this program. Like, who is it for? So a lot of people that I talk to some of them did talk about that, hey, I need to gain technical skills. And to them, I said, hey, for you, I already have the course, the Power BI course that teaches you about Power BI. And we have levels for beginner to intermediate to advanced with the pro level. So it wasn't that. This program is not about teaching you kind of Power BI. And I think this program is somebody who wants to question the way things are. And you could be an employee working in a company, or you could be working independently, or maybe you have plans to work independently as a consultant or something like that. Doesn't matter. Any of those profiles is good, but you need to be in a spot where you're starting to question things a little bit. For instance, one of the members that I talked to, he said, Avi, I applied for this job and they rejected me. And just that line made me angry. I'm like, why is it that somebody else has the power to tell us what we can or cannot do, what we are or are not capable of? Shouldn't I be able to decide that, right? I mean, can I create my own destiny, my own path? If I want to do that, I'm going to go do that, right? And then a little bit of angst about, and again, questioning that system that you got to trade your time for money, that you got to work long hours, hard hours to be successful. And of course, we talked about that last week as well. So you got to have both of those things. And the third thing that emerged from this was that each one of these members, they talked about helping others. So that's a common theme as well. All right. Anyway, so I want to bring us back to today. So yeah, today with that group, we're kicking it off and we're doing a lot of exciting stuff. But let's check in with you folks, and let's see. Heather. All right. Yeah, that's cool. So let's see if you have any question. Hans has a question. I have a cumulative total that won't work. Any chance you could help finding the reason? So you know what? I'm feeling especially excited today. So yeah, I think we did something with the announcement. I think the class announcement didn't go on. Otherwise, some of the class members are on the phone. So let's Hans, let's have you dial in. How about that, my friend? So if you go to talkpowerbi.com, you can sign up for the Insiders Club, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there is a link to dial in, and we'll have that. Or tell me more. I mean, if it's a simple question you think, then tell me what's going on with the cumulative total, and we'll see if we can help. All right, so gosh, this is the first time we've done this, but yeah, the phone lines are open. Just go to talkpowerbi.com, scroll, okay, not all the way down, but almost all the way, and there's a link to dial in there. But yeah, type in your questions in the chat window if you want, and we'll pick that up as well. Let me see if anything else. Yeah, what else? So so I think well, yeah, I'll wait for you guys. So Steve, let me check in with you. How are tell me a little bit more. Are you you got all the communication for the Six Figures program, right?
I did. I got it this morning,
Awesome.
not too long ago, so I really haven't had the chance to
no worries.
sign up for Slack or look at some of. But I do know about the call on Tuesday.
Great.
And that time does work for me, so I'll be there.
That's great. Yeah. So I had promised. It's a beta, so playing it by the ear a little bit. But I had promised, kick off on February 1, so I wanted to at least send out a welcome email, let everybody know kind of what's coming up next. So that's great. Yeah. All right. So Hans is saying connection is poor. Well, then tell me a little bit more. If somebody else wants to dial in and ask a question, chat with me and Steve, that would be awesome too. Oh, you sent it by email. Okay. All right. Well, I'll go check that really quick. And we can also troll around maybe in our Facebook group, pick up questions from there. If you're a student and you asked questions in the student group, yeah, Steve,
I was just going to say, I did see your response. Thank you for that question about
The Sumex.
iterating over a calendar table.
Yeah.
And I did try it with
All right.
the expression just being a constant, just
Yeah.
one, and it did.
Yeah.
It did go 365 times. But
Okay.
now you've
Yeah.
piqued my curiosity on the query plan. I was looking at that to see what that's all about, because
Yeah.
I would love to have something like a kind of like a debugger that would
Yeah.
show you what is going on
Yeah.
as the
Yeah. Yeah.
execute.
Yeah, that's great. So, folks, what we were talking about here is that Steve had an excellent question about iterators, and he said, "Hey, I mean, if I have some X and my calendar table has, let's say, 365 rows, let's say we have only one a year, but my data table has, let's say, just 3 values, uh, is it gonna iterate 3 times or 365?" And of course, it depends on how you write it. But yeah, I responded saying, "Hey, if you say iterate over the calendar," and I realized I made a mistake. You can't write it that way. You have to say values calendar dates or just say calendar, um, and just put a one in there. And Steve, if you notice that, I think I said it should. I think, yeah, so with Power BI, is like, I'm pretty sure it would do that, but yeah, I was a little hesitant as well. So Steve,
Yeah, that's why
yeah.
I did it. That's why
Yeah,
I tried
perfect.
it.
Yep. So my hypothesis was that, yep, no matter what the data table is, if you ask it to iterate over calendar table, it does logically iterate 365 times. Now, in like, it may not actually do it, and that's what we're talking about. So it's possible that so DAX does a lot of optimizations. So I said it's possible that it may detect that, oh, I don't need to go 365 times. It's useless because none of the data is there. So it may do some optimization, and there I referred him to the kind of the query plan in the DAX Studio. So Steve, yeah, I think that's a good thing to kind of explore and check out.
Yeah,
But as I said, I mean, I usually only get in there when I'm doing something with query performance, and
sure.
and I would admit that even then, I would have to, I refresh whatever, the Italian's book, the Marco Russo, Alberto Ferrari Bible that I have, and then I have to read up every time I do it. The one thing that is really quick and easy, where I don't have to look up the reference manual again, is just the query timing. So just to see, oh, it takes X seconds, X milliseconds, or whatever to run.
Mhm.
That's right there. The query plan inside that gets a little bit hairiest in that, but you can get the reference
It,
manual and the
yeah,
Marco Russo's
it did
book.
look a little complicated for someone
Yeah,
like me. But
yeah, yeah. All right.
and I'm not so worried about, if there's optimizations going on, that's great. I'm just,
Uh-huh.
there's no way I can work that through in my head. I mean, that's,
Yeah,
not happening. But
yeah.
I'm just okay.
All right. So Jonathan has to go. He has a question. Hans, you have an extra H in the email address if you send it to that. I couldn't get the domain name, Avi Singh with the H. That is how my name is spelled. But yeah, so I'll look for it again. So I thought it's phonetically the same. So the hell. So yeah. So let's see what Jonathan has. I would like to better understand how dashboards work. That is when or how are updated dashboard styles. Yeah, okay, got it. So we'll take Jonathan's question. While we're here, why don't we do a little bit of DAX Studio? So guys, this is a little bit of the deep end, but don't let it scare you or anything. It's just, think of it as fun. If you think it's scary, it'll be scary. If you think it's fun, it'll be fun. All right, so I do need to open up a model. So let's go back to that. Yep, so DAX Studio, free tool, and that's of course what we all love about the Power BI community. There's so much awesome stuff. and it's like, yeah, this is just a free tool which lets you do really, really cool and crazy things. And yeah, there are people to guide you in this journey as well. Yeah, I mean, of course, I look up to the Italians, Marco Russo, Alberto Ferrari. So if you're at that level, they got really great content. All right, so Power BI Desktop is coming up, and so DAX Studio, and again, this is not for beginners. Don't worry about it. right? Maybe if there's some concepts that you can hold on to, that's great. But otherwise, don't feel like you have to kind of use this tool. So here we have the model up. Now, frankly, the one thing that I use the DAX Studio for is to emphasize the fact that a lot of these different things you see are actually same or similar. For example, an Excel Power Pivot model, a Power BI desktop model, an SSAS tabular, or even Azure Analysis Server model, they're all essentially the same. They're running the same engine, a slight variation of the same engine. And that's why this one tool can connect to either of those, right? So we can say, yep, I can connect to Excel Power Pivot. It's the same engine underneath. So yeah, right now we're going to connect to the AdventureWorks. And now I'm connected to that as if it was a server, right? So, I mean, there are variations of Power BI which are actually servers. There's, of course, PowerBI.com, SSAS, and so forth. But this one, is right now pretending that this Power BI desktop is a server. So it's connected to that. So, yeah, we've seen earlier how you can use this trick to pick up the local host and connect to that local host from Excel. So you can tell Excel to, go connect to the server, which is pretty cool. Another trick here, while we're here, we've also talked about on some of the calls, and gosh, I really need to get this in the course, is I love the idea of self-documenting model, right? So I use these DMV stuff. Can you see this? I know some stuff at the bottom gets hidden. This tab, DMV, that stands for not Department of Motor Vehicles, it's Data Management Views. This has this MD schema measures things. I love using this. And if you run that, and it looks like SQL, it is not actually SQL. I've tried using SQL syntax, like if you start doing group by or something, it stops. It doesn't work. So but it's SQL-like. I'm not really sure. The language is, I think, just DMV or something. So it dumps out what the model contains, and you can dump out everything, measures, tables, everything. And then, of course, you export it from here, and you can import it to a documentation which is connected to your model, right? So that's the idea behind self-documenting model, right? So again, I mean, a few of the things, but we were talking about the query plan. So let's connect that. So let's see, how do I do? I'm connected to this. So let's let me just say evaluate calendar. Let's try that. So evaluate calendar, and I'm going to run that. And it just returns me the calendar table, nothing fancy. But let's see, for one, oh, that's great. So you don't need to do the query plan, which we'll talk about in a second. But let me reduce the size of this a little bit. Yeah, down below here, instead of output, you can go to query history, and you can see how long did it take. Yeah, so gosh, yeah, so there, client server, man, yeah, I've forgotten. It's been a while since I was here doing. Oh, okay, got it. So okay, got it. So I was confused because, like, why are there two results? The first result is from that select star that we had the DMU query, and that was 80 milliseconds, and this one was 27 milliseconds. Let's do something else here. So let's do our. So I want to do not a SumX, but let's try with filter maybe. Oh well, let's try it SumX. SumX is difficult. Add row. How do you do that? Add row. I've forgotten how to do that. Let's try something else. So we'll say filter, and let's do sales. Filter sales. Where calendar year equals 2016, and I run that. Did it work? It didn't work. Why? Did it work? No, it didn't work. That's weird. Oh. Let's try calculate table. Calculate table. What happened there? Wow, that's taking longer than I expected. Wow, so you can see the last one. So this one failed. Ignore that. But this one was 483 milliseconds. And if we run it again, though, let's see what it does. Sometimes things get cached and the next run is faster. Ooh, it was faster. You can see it was much faster. So yeah, so when you're really going for query performance, one thing you can do is you can clear the cache using this button. All right, so hey, we got a little bit deep, and of course you can go even deeper than that. I know it's the I remember the last time that I did dive into query performance, and we had a large model, like hundreds of millions of rows, like north of 500 million plus, and gosh, maybe even close to a billion. And we were running a measure. It wasn't a simple measure. It was trying to do something smart, and it was taking too long. And yeah, I was in here trying to debug, and it's a fun exercise. All right, cool. So let's get back and tackle something something different. All right, so Pedro, hopefully DAX Studio gave you a tour. So DAX Studio is yeah, it's kind of a advanced users tool, and for one, it lets you kind of run queries. You can debug things. You can optimize your performance of your measure. So if your measure is running slow, and of course, as I showed, there are other things here. There's DMV and all that sort of stuff you can experiment. So hopefully you got a quick tour from that. Free download. It's a yeah, it's I don't know, GitHub or somewhere, one of those free collaboration things.
Hey, Avi.
Yep.
One thing that I've used it for, I don't know if the people on the call would ever have the need for this, is to export data to, say, a CSV file or something.
You're right. Yeah.
And it can come in handy. It just sort of depends on the situation, because I had a model that relied on like hundreds of individual files.
Yep. Yeah.
And then if I exported that to a CSV and used that, it was much faster, much faster.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So that's a good point. So let's say that due to some scenario you want to export data from your model, because the model is all kind of done, but you need it kind of in Excel, and one way to do that is to connect Excel and build a flat pivot table. And that's yeah, I mean, that takes some time, and yeah, it can be slow. If you have lots of rows, then actually that's impossible. And if you have more than a million rows, it's certainly going to choke on you. So that doesn't work. But yeah, but this can theoretically, you can say the output is how do you change the output? Not results. Where is that? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so you can say I want to send it to a file, and then just run a query, and it could be lots and lots of records, more than a million for sure, and it will still work. So yeah, that's a good thing. So yeah, it's I remember doing that. Thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, and I'm sure there are other scenarios where people use it for.
There's one more thing I'll mention.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to connect an Excel file to DAX Studio, it's a little different than using Power BI. You have to do it from within the add-in inside of Excel. If you try to do it like you just did, you'll get very frustrated because it won't connect.
Yeah, you're right. So you gotta launch it from the DAX Studio add-in. Yeah, but it's yeah, I mean, yeah, the part that I love is that it's the same model. All right, great. So let's say so Hans, you got to give me more detail if you're not able to join the phone line. Let's take up Jonathan's question. How about that? And we're gonna go over here, get something started, and we'll say, what are we today? February 1. February 1. First. And we'll say we started maybe around 9:05. Discussion on DAX Studio with Steve. I'll just say. So we did that, and what is it? 09, oh boy, 09, Connor 27. And let's take up Jonathan Chanel. How do dashboards work? That is, when or how the dashboard tiles get updated. So this did catch me off guard the first time I started doing this. And unless the behavior has changed, you still need to watch out for that. So let's go to a dashboard. Do we have a, do we have a decent looking one? All right, that'll do. So they are cached, but the caching is pretty smart. So as long as the underlying data set is refreshed, you should see that reflected in the dashboard. And of course, in the data set here, you can set up automatic refresh. Come on. Yep, there you go. Schedule refresh. So on a set schedule, and I think you can have it like 8 times a day or something like that. And the underlying data set would refresh, and that would refresh the dashboard. But there's one scenario that got me, and that was this. So let's see if this stuff is connected back to a report. Is it? Let's try this one. Margin percentage. Come on. It's not very happy with me for some reason. Now there are 2 things that would throw me off. That's weird. Let's try this guy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's not drilling down to the report. Let's try maybe a different dashboard. Demo. Let's try that. So let's say if you look at this dashboard, and let's dive into, let's see what this options has. Yeah, so there is an option to refresh dashboard tiles, and my understanding is, and folks on the YouTube, you can help me if I don't get it right, is that, yeah, that just kind of overrides the cache. So it was cached and it's somehow not showing you the latest data. You can kind of do this to, like, hey, kind of flush the cache and so forth. But as I said, I really needed to do this. Usually is pretty good. As long as the underlying data set was updated, you saw latest data. Now, one thing where it didn't work as I expected it was, oops, so this one is Excel. Let's go back to maybe something that drills down to the report. Oh, no, this is Q&A. Hold on. I'm just trying to see something that comes from a report. There we go. So if you pin this element right on a dashboard, got it. So we're gonna say customer profitability, right? So if you pin this, and then you make a change to it, right? You come in here, and you make a change to it, add a filter or anything like that. Let's change that to, I'm not really sure, this one, stacked area chart. It is not going to reflect in the dashboard. So that got me the first time, first few times actually, because I really, let's change it to something really different. So right now it's a column graph, and I thought that these two were linked, that I had pinned this element to there, but it kind of creates a copy for you. So if you go back to the dashboard, we wouldn't see that it has changed. And of course, this applies not just if you change the visualization. If you go in your report and you add a filter or add a slicer or something like that, sure, save it. It wouldn't reflect. So they're not synced. It's not synced with the report. When you pin it, it pins it in whatever state it was at that time. So whatever filters were active at that time, they would carry over to that. So yeah, you can see that the graph type didn't change. I mean, this is still the old graph type, and yeah, so you would have to go back to that element, and if you changed any filters or you change the graphic or something like that, you would just have to repin it again. Let me know if somebody learned this the hard way, like me. What is the other part? There was one other part that also kind of gets me a little bit. Let's go back to the report, which is there at least used to be a refresh button on the dashboard, on the report. Oh gosh. We now have personal bookmarks, which is awesome. Come on, you can do it. I just clicked on something. Oh gosh, yeah, there's well, is that gone, or am I not looking at the right? Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, of course it's there. Yeah, this refresh button, and it's this caused me some problems as well, because people would click this refresh, and I'm not 100% sure. I think this also just refreshes the cache or something. It does not refresh the underlying data set. So if my data set, let's say the refresh stopped working and now the data is 5 days old, people would come in, click the refresh and say, hey, Avi, I'm clicking the refresh button, but it's not working. The data is still 5 days old. And I'm like, oh gosh, now it needs to refresh in the back end. Hey, I'm just going to change this really quick. All right, so Jonathan, hopefully those questions answered, helped your query. And Hans is getting home. All right, cool. So let's do the call-in. I'm still waiting there for you guys. So let's do, if you want to call in, and I would request that you become a member at talkpowerbi.com, part of the Insiders Club. But yeah, if you'd like to just dial into that, we can do that too. All right, let's see. Set it back to the way it was. Gear, yeah, just click on that Zoom link that I just sent, and we'll see what's going on. So Geert is saying he's struggling a bit with measure to show contracts per month. Yeah, all right, great. So while we're waiting for some questions, I'll share some stuff that we have planned for Insider class. And hey, even if you're not inside, I mean, you'll see the approach that we take, and we take this approach. So I've been teaching this for 2 years. I've been teaching Power BI for a lot longer. So the approach works. You know, it's so the whole thing that I emphasize in the class is learning comes from doing, right? So let's go zoom in a bit. So learning by doing. So even in the class, we say, hey, the course is actually not going to teach you. I mean, there's the content there. I focus on the core concepts, and I say it's a 20%. It's going to give you the 80% of the results. But to get those 80% of the results, you gotta kind of learn, and then you gotta apply it. And then I know what happens there. You get stuck. And this part is frustrating. The worst, the worst case of this is when I start hearing people saying, oh, this was so much better in the old Excel. I mean, right? I mean, why am I bothering to do this in Power BI? No, my friend, that's not an easier life. And again, we're not talking about the modern Excel that has Power BI built into it, but the old Excel is like, it's very flexible, but that if you go down that road, you know where that ends. That ends in a death by 1,000 cuts, right? It just kind of gets crazy over time. Power BI is different, but you got to use it differently. You got to think about it differently. So again, the course helps clarify some of those core concepts, but if you do get stuck, you got to get help, and that's where there's lots of help in the community. So what we are planning for this new program, Six Figures, is that we'll in February we'll focus on just kind of getting everybody on board and I don't know, getting everybody some quick wins. So I'm looking to get results for these 10 amazing members in February, rather than, you know, like, oh yeah, it's a 3-month program, so wait till April till you see something, right? So we're gonna try something there. And what else? Obviously, this is a beta, so there's no content, and I'll be developing the content guided by the group. In March, so look out for that, my friends. We're going to be running a real Power BI experiment. I don't know if I should call it experiment. We've run it twice, and we're going to run it on a bigger scale. So there, I would be reaching out to all of you and say, hey, do you have a BI project that you would like us to work for free in a class setting? Right now, of course, it's not really free, because you don't pay by money. You pay us by giving your data set and time, right? So you're going to be working with us, right? So for kind of the business folks out there, like you submit projects, and inside the class we would match students with projects. Match students with projects. And we had one brilliant idea about one of the students, that students can also, they don't have to wait for somebody else to submit a project. You can also BYOP, bring your own project. Because some of the students are like, hey, I'm working in this company, and man, we have projects up the wazoo. You know, I just want to be able to work on that in the structured format with us all going together. I mean, that adds a lot of excitement to it. So and so we'll select that, match it with students, and that's it. We'll just run it for kind of 4 to 5 weeks. We've done that in the past, and of course Power BI is Agile BI, so Agile. We're going to use the Agile approach, and every week we're going to make progress. Start with getting some requirements, pull the data in, all of that sort of stuff. So we've done this before, and we'll be doing this together inside the class in a guided setting. Certainly the folks in the Six Figures program would be involved. We also have a pro level insider group. They would also be involved, but we'll certainly share some of the experience with everybody on YouTube as well. And of course, everybody we do need your projects. So if you have projects that would be eligible, and we'll share more guidelines. So look out for that. All right, cool. Let's see. Geert is saying, oh, so let's get Geert's question. Hey, Geert, are you on the Zoom call? If you're not, that's cool. Okay, Hans is on. That's great. Hans, let me get to you. So let's go with Geert, and we'll say 936. And when do dashboard tiles refresh? 936. Real Power BI. I think that's the biggest announcement for you folks. Gosh, that's gonna be so cool. And we have 0941, and Geert is saying something about contracts per month measure. Got it. So I have a start and end date. I would like per month to see how many started, ended, and were active during and within the particular month. Yeah. Oh. Got it. So let's. Okay. Yeah. So Geert, that one should be really straightforward. Okay. So let's go in here. Got it. Oops. Yeah. So start date, end date, and you want to show active contracts. It sounds like, right? So which many have started, and so this is a little different. let's go back to one of our prior Talk Power BI. So actually, let me show you a few things. So I don't remember if you are part of the pro level. That one is kind of the next level inside the course. So right, I mean, for those who are kind of on the next level of that journey. So in that one, there is somewhere, if I can locate it, something that does specifically tackle that start end date scenario. And it's such a generic scenario, happens in a lot of places. Let's see if we have here. Oh yeah, here we go. Active employees. And so you have start date, end date, and you want to calculate kind of events in progress, right? So how many employees are active, how many contracts are open, that sort of stuff, right? So so that's in there. If you are over there, you know what? I'll just post it in the chat as well. Okay, all right, no worries. So I'll just post it here for other students who are there. But we tackled this in a Talk Power BI call last week. This is a challenge series, and this time our challenge is to determine the number of... I don't want that. Sorry. Ooh, look at my visual. Oh, I'm so proud of that. So select a date range, like start date, end date, start date, end date. Anyway, cool. So we tackled this in Talk Power BI. And of course, so if you go to Talk Power BI, and I'll go to 2019, let me see, when did we tackle it? So I can just say start. Ooh, dang it. When was this? Maybe I didn't use that word start. Who's it? Employee, student. Maybe it was like a student data. I remember maybe it was employee. Well, okay. Employers, was that it? Anyway, let's see how many files do we have. Oh, headcount. Perfect. So headcount, was that it? Pending delivery orders, was that it? Pending delivery orders, I think that was it. So I think that's going to be your closest example. Let me bring that up. And what I'll do is I'll change my notes here. Pending. Oh, I didn't take good notes. I don't have that written down. Who was asking that? That was Prashant with a D from Netherlands. Oh, dang! Look at me. Yeah, I wasn't good at taking notes. So he asked that on January 18th. Let me see if I can go back, and we'll just do. We'll say. Active orders, and this is start date and date kind of question, and we'll say C files. All right, so we have so I know your question is slightly different, but we'll see if we can get close enough. So let's go back. So you're saying I want to show contracts per month. I have start date and end date. Okay, I would like per month to see how many started, ended, and were active. Oh gosh, we got this for you, my friend, right? We got this. We totally have you covered. Yep. So we've already solved it for how many active, and the only thing left is like how many started, how many ended, and that's even easier. So so go back and watch that January 18th call, and it'll have me kind of going through all of that. And but gosh, where do I start? So if we go look at the data coming in, it is order date and delivery date, which is the same as start date, end date, right? So start date, end date, something started, something ended. So order date, delivery date, and then we're saying how many were active between those two dates. And the last formula, the end result of the formula looks more complex than it is, because it has to account for the blank when there's no end date. If you watch my video from that day, it's not that hard. It's very logical. So basically, we're just saying, yep, go through order by order and just tell me whatever date we're trying to show, how many active are there, right? So so that one is pretty easy. So geared, hopefully that sounds like that would solve active contracts for you, right? So let's keep that one. So this by day is showing how many were active. I mean, here we call it pending orders, so which are still open, which haven't been delivered. Yeah, I think this would work for you. But then let's say, oh man, let's do this. So how about we go to employee start date, end date. I'm getting tempted to kind of redo it. Maybe we do redo it. Let's solve it for geared, shall we? So let's do save as. And we'll go talk Power BI. And we'll say 290201 geared, and we're doing I'm just gonna say active contracts, but we're gonna do all of them. Okay, cool. So we got this brand new file, my friends, for geared, and we're gonna try to set up the exact same scenario that we had. So instead of orders, we'll say contracts or contract. Sometime I'm not sure if it's which one is better, singular or plural. And in here, I'm going to change the name of the fields, and we're going to say this is contract number, and we'll just say start date, end date. Got it. Do I need more? I think we had done some other examples here with a blank. Okay, so we got contract number. Who's not happy with me about something? Oh, yeah, so order number. Well, we're gonna ignore that, I think. And here we can say detect data type. How would that do? Nope, didn't do very well. So we're gonna do start date is date, end date is date. And you obviously need your calendar table. Anytime you have a date field, you need a calendar table. So let's start from scratch. Actually, this is good. So we're gonna see like a different slice of things, and I can solve it kind of step by step for you. So let's go back to our notes, and we're trying to solve three things: contract started, contract ended, and contracts active. And this one I think we've already solved. But let's go back here, and here let's just say I'm going to say by contract number, give me the start date, give me the end date, end date, and let's make this slightly bigger. And should I change the format? Let's do that. All right, so we have the start date, end date. I guess we can make the size a little bit bigger. Let's look at relationship view, see if we have any connections yet. Oh, interesting. We don't have any. Okay, cool. And pending orders, we can ignore that. Okay, so we'll say contract count. Got it. All right, so now let's see. So I'm not going to worry about do you want it to show it by month, by week, and any of that, because if you can do it by date, then you have your calendar table and you can say show me by month, year, and all of that, right? So we're just going to say by by a specific date. So let's go back here. Oop, I wanted to copy that. Is it working? Oh, it did work. Maybe a few times. Okay, that's weird. All right, so we have this one, and over here, I'm gonna bring in date from my calendar table. And again, instead of date, I can bring in months, or year, or some other period. It would still work. So we have date, and so let's say on a specific date, how many contracts started, right? Let's start there. So we're gonna go over here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect the start date to our date. Oops, there we go. So we're gonna take the start date and connect that to our date. And voila, come on, there we go. So now the auto detect doesn't do a great job, and yeah, you always got to be careful. So the default should be 1 to star, or many to one, right? 1 to many, one of those, and single direction filtering. All of your relationships by default should look like this. You know, with the lookup table up above, 1 over there, star over here, and yeah, single direction. Bonus points if you can line up the reasons, or at least one of the reasons why that is important. So that's the default. So yeah, we just set it up that way. And now we can just take our contract count measure, and I'm thinking it'll tell us that how many contracts started on a particular date. So if you go contract count, so you can see, so I have the start date here, 1/5/8. So I have how many contracts started on January 1? Well, 1 on 5 and 8, right? Obviously, the other dates disappeared. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new measure, and I'm just gonna clarify it. So I'm gonna keep my contract count measure because that is for the model author. That's for me to understand what am I doing. But then here, I'm just gonna create a new one, contracts started, and I'm just gonna say contract count, right? So and I can put some comments. So I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and I emphasized the importance of comments. And of course, this is a very simplistic measure, but you know, I mean, gosh, if you write something complicated, do yourself a favor, because a month later you're gonna have to come back in here and try to figure out, why did I do it this way? It's like just reusing that measure, but giving it a more appropriate name. Now, you don't have to do that. So what I'm going to do here is watch this. So I'm going to bring in contracts started here. And I didn't need to do that. There was one other way to do it, and I'll show you guys. So and frankly, man, I'm kind of disappointed. Like when I can copy paste. Oh, don't worry, ignore that. So instead of doing that, I could have just gone to contract count, and I could have renamed it. So I just say that, oh, I know the measure is called contract count, but in here I can say, no, the label is contract started. Now that's a fair way, and I do use that sometimes. But if it's like a base measure which is going to be used a lot of times, for one, I want to save that effort. You know, if I'm like building a new page, I don't have to remember rename it every time. Secondly, I want to sometimes there's a risk of confusion. Like I would be looking at contract started, and then I might go finding like a measure named contract started, but there isn't. I just renamed it. And if you do rename it, can you tell what was the original measure? Oh my God! How? Oh well, I guess you can. You can look in the field well. So I can see that it's here. It says contract started, but the measure is contract count. But yeah, that can get confusing sometimes if you have multiple measures. Anyway, if you have both options, use them wisely. All right, so you can rename that. So I'm going to get rid of this. Don't worry about this. So contract started. So contract started is same as contract count, but I'm going to remove the contract count. So we have that. But now how do we do contract ended, right? So, and again, how would a human do it? Well, the human would focus on the end date. So I'll say, if you ask me, it's like, oh yeah, there's one contract that ended on January 3rd, one contract that ended on January 10th. Easy, right? So what I'm doing is focusing on the end date field. So that's what we need to do. We need to just link end date with this date. Now, of course, when you do that, it's going to do this dotted line because there can only be one active relationship at a time. So, well, you can go in there and try to activate this, and it'll tell you. You say, yep, no, you can't do that. And it has some really helpful message there. I don't know. Reading those error messages, well, maybe I should, sometimes they're okay. All right, so you can't do that, but that's okay. We don't need it activated in a relationship view because we can activate it in using the magic of DAX. So really simple. So we're going to say contract ended. I'm going to say new measure. I'm going to go in there and we'll say contracts ended, and I'm going to say, hey, calculate, bring out the magic one. It's a magic one of DAX, and I'm going to say, well, I do want the count. I mean, that's what I'm doing, but I want to do it slightly differently. I want the count by activating the other relationship. And how do you activate? Using this function, use relationship. That's it. And it's really, really simple. You just specify the two sides of that relationship. So you know how we dragged and dropped it from one to the other? So you just say, yeah, one end of that is the calendar date. So that's one end of the relationship. And the other end is the end date. Right, so end date, what happened to my autocomplete? And, oh gosh, come on. End date, there we go. Contract end date. It doesn't matter which order you specify it in. I could have specified end date first, so that doesn't matter. Just specify that two endpoints. And the relationship does need to exist. So, the dotted line does need to be there. So you need to create that first. If you don't have that, then I don't know if it'll give you an error or the result wouldn't be right. We can try that if you like. All right, cool. So my theory is that's going to work. Contracts ended, and we're going to put that in the contract table. And I'm going to add that on there. Ooh, did that work? I'm not sure that worked. Oh, it did. Perfect. So great. So now, and I'm going to put this table. And hey, if you have trouble dragging, I drag it using these three dotted lines. I don't know if that helps sometimes. Okay, cool. So now let's kind of zoom in. And by the way, guys, I mean, you see here I'm using a sample data set with like really small number of rows, but often if I was writing this for a production data set, it could have millions of rows. What I do is while I'm writing the measure, I would filter down using slicers or other things to a very, very small data set that I can visually see and understand, right, which fits on a page and something. I sometimes also kind of export that in Excel to check things and things like that. All right, cool. So let's kind of check it like from as humans. Let's see how we're going to do that. So we'll say da-da-da. Okay, that's good enough. So it is saying a contract started on January 1, 5, and 8. January 1, 5, and 8. Again, and all right, so and a contract ended. Oh, there's a blank. That makes sense. This is the blank one. And then a contract ended on January 3 and January 10. So January 3, 10. So right, so it's telling us the right numbers. And again, if you want to show it by month, you don't have to do anything. You just have to drag in the month column, and that's the awesomeness, right? I mean, the measures are defined ones used everywhere, so you have this whole gamut in the calendar table, not just any calendar table, my friend. This is the ultimate calendar table, which you can get on my channel. By now, I guess, I don't know if everybody knows, but maybe there's some new folks. So if you go to my channel, thanks to Marianne on Team Avi, she has categorized all the good stuff at the top in this Learn Power BI, and it's a bunch of playlists. And kind of in the order of importance. So yeah, if you're just starting out, the Power BI tutorial is there, but then Ultimate Calendar Table, it's a gift that keeps on giving, and then there's data modeling and other stuff. So Ultimate Calendar Table. So here you have month and fiscal month and all that sort of stuff. And if I wanted to see this by month, all I have to do is instead of date, I can say, I can drag in a month from there, right? And of course, right now, it's not going to be very interesting. So 3 contracts started to an end because I only have 1 month's data, but if I had more data, it would just work. I wouldn't have to do anything, right? So just drag and drop. So that's that. All right, so now to the tricky part, which you've already solved, so I'm not concerned about it, which is contracts active. And hold on, just let me make this date a little bit smaller so we have a little more space over there. Perfect. So contracts active. So for that, I'm going to go over here and just see if I can modify the same measure. Contracts active. So I say, I figure out the date that, hey, what date that I'm looking at. Oh, this is going to be a little bit different because this one is coded for a date. Gosh, how do we do this with a range? Let's go back and add at least a few more rows for February. And then we can try it for a range. Hey folks, I know some of you joined on the phone. Just just hang on there. I'll get to you in a second. So let's say 2/1/2019 and 2/5/2019, or let's go beyond that. So 3/1/2019, and then we'll have E, or actually let's do this one to be 2/10, and this one is going to be 2/1/2019, and the end date is 3/1/2019. Let's go with that for now. Okay, cool. So we have a little bit different data set, and we can bring in months now. Okay, cool. So let me go back and get that. And what I'm going to do is get the month here. All right, great. Let's see if it matches up. Oh, it's not sorted. Hold on. Sort by column, month, year, num. Yeah, perfect. So it is telling me that there were three contracts that started in January. Makes sense. 2 that started in February. Great. 2 that ended in January. Yep, makes sense. 1 ends in February. 1 ends in March, right? So I think that's all checks out. But let's go do the contracts active. So we were earlier doing it at the date level, so we'll have to change this a little bit. So we'll say var selected date minimum, or let's say min selected date. So let's do min selected date, and let's do max selected date. Got it. Let me actually cheat and see if I can pull it from my course. There we go. Active employee, solution tax, solution advanced tax, active relationship. Oh yeah, nice. Max date, min date, count rows, filter. Oh, max date that. Wow. I don't remember that. No relationship. Simple DAX. Hey, I like simple. Oh, ignore that. Okay, let's see if we can use that one and modify it. So active. Man, I had forgotten about the lessons. Clearly, you saw that there are a few different approaches there. I first start with no relationship, then active relationship, and then there's another solution with simple DAX. So, but anyway, active contract. So we're going to say calculate table, and it's going to be contract all calendar. Max date is contract. What is the start date? There is start date, and not is blank. Contract and date. Got that. And contract and date. Okay, so I don't know why I had these here. So we'll say max calendar date. Min calendar date. Did that work? Okay, didn't give an error. Let's see if it actually works. So how many were active in January? There were 3 that were active. That's right. So 3 that were active in January. February, there were 3 active because it's counting C as well, right? C doesn't have an end date, so that one is still active. And then in March, there are only 2 active because this one ended, so it's counting in March this one and this one. And then of course, since this guy has an open end date, it's showing you 1 active for till the future. So that's it. Yeah. So I wouldn't explain the formula. I mean, that's inside the course, and it's gosh, obviously I spent a lot of time kind of explaining this. So I don't think that would help the group at this point. But Geert, that should solve your thing. Let me just check in with you. I took my eyes off the chat. So let me know. E should have started before February. Yeah, I mean, of course, so the formula works. Doesn't matter what the dates are. Yeah, I'm not sure what you meant by E should have started before February. Like, do you want to try that test case? Yeah, we can add something. Let's say, all right. Yeah, you know what? I'm confident in the results here, so we'll leave it as that. And I'll put a link to the download files. You can get that from where do these live? Oh, they live over here. Perfect. So folks, if you join talkpowerbi.com, it has the link to download the files. But I'll okay, Geert. Yeah, I was not sure what Geert was gonna say, so he's happy with it. Perfect. So you know what? I'll just share this link really quick. But for the rest of you folks, if you need to go back to any of the Talk Power BI files, notes, all of that, then you can go to just talkpowerbi.com, and once you sign up, it gives you access to my notes, my files, and the dial-in. All right, so this is for Geert. Awesome, great. So let's see. We had questions from Hans, and did I miss something else? Sean has a question or comment. Okay, got it. I'm gonna put this at least on my notes, that way I don't forget about it. So Geert. So that is by Sean, and then I think we had something from Lindsay. Yeah, so Heather, thanks for helping out Manish. Yeah, Manish, I showed it a little earlier, that the main channel. The good stuff is here. Of course, if you want to go beyond that, then I have my course, and if you stay kind of subscribed to me, then you will see updates around that whenever the enrollment opens again. But for now, let's see if we have folks on the phone. Hans, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let's see if we can hear you.
Avi?
Hi there.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, man. Fine. I'm finally home after a long day of work.
That is great. So tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm working in a telecom company, the biggest telecom company of our country, and I'm working in the wholesale department. So basically, we are selling our products to our competitors. So we're a bit the underdog inside the company.
Interesting.
And as we are the underdog, we are in an interesting position because we have all the complexity of the big other departments, but not the support and not the manpower to do the reporting, data, database, IT, everything. That's basically me.
Yeah. Well, that's that's good. So I have this phrase: your strengths are your weaknesses, and your weaknesses are your strengths. So in your case, the fact that you don't have any of those also means you don't have to deal with any of them, because in a regular organization, you start doing like a Power BI project, and often you have to like go get permission from everybody. Now, of course, I do recommend that, folks. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, but I think for you, it's great. You can just kind of go and run with it. So where are you based, Hans? Where are you calling in from?
I'm now home. I'm at about 20 kilometers from Brussels, so the middle of Belgium.
Got it. All right. Awesome. That's great. All right. So you had said, did I write it down? I've forgotten now. So tell me again what you were asking about.
It's basically what you just showed, but I had a gap because I was commuting with the train and the connection was not that great.
Okay.
But I saw that you previously showed how you in fact from contracts with a start and an end date to see how much are active.
Yeah.
That's the same kind of thing that I was doing. I used the same formula as you did in your last measure, but it didn't work. It doesn't work, and I already talked to our Power BI experts within the company, and they can't find it. So I say, okay, let's ask Avi; he will solve it.
So you have a formula that's not working. Now, of course, the next step. I mean, of course, this is a little bit deep. So do you have like are you able to share your screen and show me what's not working?
Yeah, sure. But it's the first time, so I hope I'm doing everything right. I'm looking at the video from YouTube, and then I have the call open, so there's a lot of latency between the two.
Oh, okay,
it's
got it. So hold on, let's do this. So Steve, hey, I'm gonna turn off the GoToMeeting screen sharing. Yeah, save some bandwidth on my side too. Okay, so screen sharing is off there. But
I don't know if I can share the screen from within the call, because then I have
you can turn off YouTube and or stop that and share the screen over here in the Zoom thing. There should be a green share button.
Yeah, but if I click on it, it's asking me to install a Chrome extension. I don't believe I can install anything on my company laptop.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, so boy, but yeah, without that, it'll be pretty hard because.
But basically, the most important screens I did in the email, in the Word document, and you will not be able to solve it from there. But you will see that I respected all your guidance, like put the asset table at the bottom, link it with the filter down with the fantastic calendar table. I did all that, and the measure is just.
Tell you what, I mean, if you have a home computer, we're not going anywhere. I mean, if you have home computer, I'll hang out here. We'll chat about some other stuff, take some other questions. Do you have a home computer where you can join in from, where you would be able to?
Yeah, sure. Multiple.
Yeah. Okay, great. And of course, you would need your Power BI file on there as well, because you would be sharing that screen. All right. So try that. All right. Yeah. You can hang up here if you like. And yeah. All right. Cool. So let's see.
Thanks.
All right. Okay. So cool. What we're gonna do is. All right, so let's do this. Let's take some of the questions that came up. So we're waiting for Hans. Cumulative totals. Ooh, I love that kind of stuff. So folks, if you let it frustrate you, if you find it frustrating, it's going to be frustrating. But whenever I run into things like this, for me, it's like a whodunit murder mystery. And I was talking to my colleagues, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Avi, that's so gruesome." And I'm like, "No, yeah. Imagine there's like a a dead body on the floor, and there's somebody leaning over the body with a knife in their hand, blood dripping. And of course, the ones that I really love are where that is not the murderer. So you start there. I was like, well, we thought that was a murder, but they're not. They just happen to be there with a knife dripping with blood. It's something else. And then you kind of pull a clue, and then you kind of chase that. Like, oh, is this in the model? Is this in the source data? Where is it, right? So you start with those big buckets. And is it a relationship issue? Is it a measure issue? Like all of that sort of stuff, right? So you start with the big buckets and you narrow down, and sometimes you got to backtrack. Like, sometimes somebody pops up at the top of his suspect list, but then you realize that they have an alibi, and then they're exonerated, right? So that's how I see it, right? So it's usually, I would say, not. I mean, maybe I get frustrated once in a while, but usually I love this kind of stuff. It's not working, bring it on. Let's see if we can take some other stuff on here. Let's see, is there any other recent questions? Manu is asking, hey Avi, with many-to-many relationships in Power BI, is the bridge table approach still recommended? Ooh, that's an excellent question. Let's see if we have that one in our sample model. We might. We do. So it used to be that bridge table, so many-to-many is my favorite example is ice creams and ice cream flavors and colors. So if you think of a flavor, every flavor is going to have many colors in it, right? Some are only going to have one, that's okay. But some of them, I don't know, like Chunky Monkey is going to have like brown and white and other stuff, right? So, and every color is going to have multiple ice cream flavors. So if you say, I want a white ice cream, then say, oh yeah, these are the 3 ice creams. So that's many-to-many for you. And you see that in business data all the time. And the only way to do that was using what we call a bridge table. And you can see that here, it kind of bridges one table with the next. So here we have sales and sales reasons. So we're tracking for every sale, why did they buy? And so for every sale, it can be, well, I saw an ad and then I was walking in the store. I saw an ad and then my friend bought it too, right? So there can be multiple reasons for every sale. So every sale has multiple reasons. And of course, every reason is like, oh, they saw an ad, is going to have many sales. So it's a many-to-many, and the only way to link that was through this bridge table and this structure. So that is covered in the course, but now we have a many-to-many relationship. Which one is better? I would feel that the many-to-many relationship would be better. Yeah, I'll say. Yeah, I think you can just directly connect the two. I would go with that. Yeah, the reason being that I think Power BI would probably be able to find more optimization. I mean, it'll be more efficient. Now, again, for small models, you probably wouldn't see the difference. In a way, it also looks cleaner, a little bit cleaner. So that's good. All right, cool. So let's see what else we can tackle really quick. Is there a way? So let's tackle this one. So say 1021 Lindsay alerts in a table. So alert icon. So there is an alert. So I wouldn't use the word alert because there are alerts that you can set up for your dashboards. So I just wouldn't use that word. So you can say that if this metric changes to I don't know, plus something else, higher than this number, then I want to be alerted. And it's pretty cool because it's going to alert you using email. But if you have the Power BI app on your phone, then it's going to pop up an alert there as well. So that's, and you can see that over here. Come on. Manage alerts, this one. I believe what you're asking about are like KPI icons. So for that, I will say there is a playlist that I have that covers it. Yeah, there we go. All right, perfect. So KPI indicators. How can you use the Excel conditional form? So this one is for Lindsay, right? KPI. So try that and see how that goes. Although that one does need a slight update, but you know the approaches outlined there are still work. Cool. So we got that. Let's see. Ooh, dang, my meeting isn't on yet. Hold on, guys. I'll kickstart this meeting again. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get back, and I'm gonna put the same thing here. Oops. KPI indicators. And let's see what Sean has to say. So, so folks, if anybody else has a question or would like to dial in, like call in, then I'll put the Zoom link again. All right, let's go to Sean, and that one is, what is he asking about? How do I put them in a cross tab where the row is sales and the columns? Aha! Really cool. Really, really cool. Let's see. Let's see if we can do this. So let's recreate it. Where is AdventureWorks? Here is AdventureWorks. And do we have sales year to date, life to date? Let's see what he's talking about. Year to date, life to date. Let's just do year to date. I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna do life to date. I'm gonna do quarter to date, but because you know the idea is the same. So let's just define those measures really quick. And we'll say new measure. Did that work? New measure. And we'll say sales QDD equals, oh gosh, this is so easy with time intelligence and the calendar table. So I'll say, yep, give me sales, but dates QTD, calendar. Oops, messed it up. Date. So that's that. Let me put the formatting, and I'm going to copy this measure, say new measure again, and we're just setting up to help with the question, and year to date, and you just change like one letter. By the way, guys, maybe TMI, but man, I was so excited about the Six Figures program. I was up at 5 this morning. Which is unusual for me. I mean, you know, like, maybe somebody's like, Avi, I get up at 5 every day. Yeah, right now it's been a bit of a challenge, like just trying to contain myself with ideas. I have like new ideas of how we can help or what we can do in that new group all the time. I'm trying to stay focused. All right, cool. So let's see how it looks like in a regular thing, and you know, maybe we have a matrix over here, and we're gonna say show me by month, and we're gonna filter it down to a specific year. List, and we're gonna say show me 2016, and show me a month, show me sales, and I can add that. I can add the quarter date, I can add the year to date, and let's make that a little bit bigger. Okay, that's good enough. And of course, I need to fix the decimal. And I like seeing that in a graph. So you can see this is the sales. This is, you know, kind of going up and down and so forth. And quarter date, it January, February, March, cumulative, and then it drops, resets, April, May, June, resets, and the year to date is actually going to reset at the boundary of a year. So if I have the multiple years here, it would show that to me. But we got that working. Actually, I'm a little confused now. What? So he was saying, how do I put them in a cross tab where the row is sales and the columns are year to date, sales to date? Well, I don't think the row is sales. There's something else in rows. I need to know what that is. And I'll guess if you force me to. So, well, if I mean, if you didn't have, like, I don't know what you mean by the row is sales. That's because this is it, right? I mean, sales. I mean, do you need a label here that says sales and then it says QTD YTD? I'm not sure. Frankly, I don't think I would solve that. I mean, yeah. So I wouldn't solve that unless you tell me exactly that's what you're looking for. So I want to figure out from Sean, like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for something like this? Sales, let's say QTD and year to date. I know you said year to date, life to date, but same thing. Are you looking for that? Let's say another account is cost. Yeah, so you're putting something else in here. You're saying show me by account. Got it. And we have a caller. Let's see who called in. Hans is back. All right, Hans, I'm going to be with you in a second. So let's recreate that over here, and let's put territory in there. It's, you know, AdventureWorks. It's you can solve the problems of the world with this. So let's put country in there and see what that looks like. So yeah, I'm not you know, I feel like I'm getting it, but I'm not getting it. Like so here I can have by country sales QTD today. Hey, if you can call in, of course, that'll be awesome. Then you can guide me, share your screen, all of that. Or if you can, like, hack something in Excel, I do that all the time, and I would hack it in, like, Excel. And no, Avi, I'm looking for this. Like, this is the layout that I want, and take a screenshot and share that using a link. There's lots of sites which let you do that. So paste image online, like there's just paste it. Yeah, Snaggy, one paste, all of the pasteboard. You can paste an image and just send me a link. It's like, hey, this is the result I'm looking for. Or you can join in, because isn't this kind of, you can have account over there, and then you can say, yep, quarter date, year to date. Or am I missing something? So let's see. Oh, well, right. So sales. Okay, well, so Sean, if that is it, then I'm just gonna save this file. We didn't do anything fancy, so I'm a little disappointed. But yeah, so okay, got it. So you're on it. So if there's a different result, let me know. You can either call into the Zoom call. If you scroll up, there's a Zoom link right there, or paste an image. Either way. All right, Hans, how you doing, my friend?
I'm fine.
Great. All right. So yeah, go ahead, hit that green share button. Let's see how it works. So you have a cumulative, which is not working. Not working as you expect, right?
Yes. If I can find back launch a Zoom meeting, that's okay. That's not the one that I should use. I hear you.
Okay, we'll wait for you. Okay,
and where is that button? I see launch Zoom meeting. Click exit. I did click the exit. Well, wait. Maybe it's here. Okay, share. That's the one. Share screen one. Yes.
It's coming up.
That's already something. Now the file again.
Great.
Because
so I see.
I had to install Power BI. that Zoom.
Yeah.
Everything was not yet on the PC. So
yeah.
Sorry a bit about that.
The good news is you're all set for the next time we talk.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
hey, Avi, what's up? I say, yeah, so it's cool. All right.
Where can I?
So Sean is working on the pick. Hans is working on getting the file, and
yes,
Sean is
this one.
Okay. Hans has the
Finally.
file. Great. Oh gosh.
What do you think about the colors?
Oh, dude, you can't go wrong with that, right? Hey, a crazy thing, and I'll share it on YouTube. Yeah. So hold on, just 1 second. I wanted to show something. So the other day, I was at McDonald's. Oh wait, is this the photo? Oh yeah, look at this. They're following Power BI color palette. I couldn't be happier. So I don't know what's going on in this world. Power BI is taking over. All right, cool. So yeah, love the color palette. Oh gosh, that looks so pretty. All right, cool. So let's start. Why don't we start with the relationship view? So that's usually where I always start anyway. Oh, cool, beautiful, love the layout. I mean, that's the first thing I look for. So you pass that round with flying colors. Cool. Now, yeah, so for others, so Hans, you probably know you're doing, so you're good. But for other folks, what I do is I'll show you my table, is that I keep the lookup tables small and I keep the data table tall, because that's how they should be. Your data tables are actually tall and thin, and lookup tables are they're short, as in they're not going to have as many rows. So sales tables can have millions of rows. You shouldn't have millions of rows in your lookup table, right? Or as many as a data table. That is not quite right. But these are very wide. They have lots of columns. So obviously, I mean, they have lots of columns, but I don't know, I just keep them small to remind me of that, like short and wide. Anyway, all right, so we got that. We got this diagram view. Looks really clean. That's great. So take me back to the view you had earlier and tell me what's not working.
So what I did is, in my asset table, I tried to create some measures to give me the final goal is something like having the total assets that have been added through the years.
Yeah.
The total assets that have been deactivated through the years as a negative figure.
Yeah.
And then a line telling me, okay, these are the netto values that have been in the network, in our network with subscriptions. These are connectivities that we are selling. So that's what the asset is. It is a connectivity. How many active connections we have at the moment, showing at the total and minus the deactivations. That's what I'm a bit trying to figure out. And
wow, so a really similar problem, right? So let me kind of say it to make sure I got it. So you're just trying to show how many assets were activated, right?
Yeah.
And how many assets were deactivated.
Yes.
In that period, or are you trying to do cumulative, like cumulative assets activated, deactivated, or you just want to say?
If I put these figures, the asset count in a waterfall, it gives me somehow the trends that I want to see. But they want it into into a bar chart with the adds as a positive, the deactivations as a negative number, and then a line a line which tells me this is the delta between the positive and the negative. And everything was going fine until I say, okay, now I need the cumulative total to be shown on the graph table. And as you can see, the cumulative total is not adding up. And if I take the formula, it's the basic formula. I tried it with sum, I tried it with everything, and it does not add up. I don't know. It's that same thing that you used before, the filter, then all, and the calendar table, the date, which the date smaller or equal to the max of the dates.
Instead of saying all calendar date dot date, just say all calendar.
So removing the date parts.
Yeah, let's try that.
If it's that easy.
Well, I always wait for it. Well, it did something less than max calendar date. Why isn't that part working? So it's doing all, which is good. Okay, let me see. So it's saying filter all calendar, but then date has to be less than the max date. Okay, hey, let me see. Can I take over control here? But oh man, I know how to do that in GoToMeeting. Oh, request remote control. Let's try that. You're about to request. Yep, I do want to request. Okay, did that work? Ooh, nice. Okay, so calculate. Got something. Filter all calendar. Let's do this. So we're gonna say well, filter max calendar date. That, yeah, it should work.
Should work. Eh? Everybody tells me should work.
Yeah. Let's do it step by step so we can see what's going on. So we'll do step 1. Oops. And we'll say where return count equal. We'll come back to that one. Oops, didn't mean to do that. It's giving me an error. That's okay. And we'll say return max date. Yeah, let's see if that part is working. Ooh, that part is not working. Stunner. So, right? I mean, you see that it thinks that the maximum date is not January 31, 1998. It's saying 2019. So there's something there. Let's see why it doesn't work that way. Oops. So the period, is it coming from the calendar table?
Yes, that's a thing that I added because they want it in a format of year-month number, and that was not in the. So I added that.
Yeah, let's go back here. So period, and it's gosh, this is baffling. And I'm saying, where did my measure go? Asset cumulative total. There it is. So I'm just saying, give me the max. Ooh, what is that? What is that date? I don't like using those. Hey man, I'm gonna check the YouTube chat. Does the calendar? Oh yeah, thank you. Oh man, unbelievable how many times that's gotten me. So and it gets me all the time because this behavior changed from Power Pivot to Power BI. And there's a good reason. I asked them and they explained it, but it always gets me. So yeah, there's a sort by column, right? But the max still should work. Yeah, there's a all. Oh gosh, yeah. Steve, yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Wait, something started working. Yeah, so it's working now. Great.
Yeah, it was
It's working now.
Was in not in capitals. Is that the one that is?
No. So the only thing that I changed was this date. Now this date thing, I hate that stuff.
But I know, creates... but I too, but I didn't add it. It was a specialist that added it because he said probably that's the reason.
Yeah, but you know that stuff is like evil. So maybe that was it. Maybe that date thing, was it. So let's try that again without the date. So now we know that the max date just without that works. Now if we come here,
but then all the thing that was changed before to what I did was that max was in capitals, not in capitals before.
No. That doesn't matter. Yeah, that's just me. Sorry, I'm anal about it. Yeah, so I capitalize it. So that doesn't matter. But now let's see. So we know that the max calendar date works. And now if I change that to this.
Yeah, now it's working.
All right.
Yeah, but how? Good, right? There is nothing different between what I did.
Yeah, so I mean, we only changed two things. One, we changed. I think you had to filter calendar date, and you essentially, I'm sure the autocomplete was trying to help you when you were typing it. So all of these things were like date, and we got rid of that. So folks, I really wish that was that's unfortunately I think a file level option. So if you go to options and settings. And there is where is it? Report settings.
It's unbelievable. Maybe... You're sending good vibes to Power BI.
Global report. There's one part where it says don't do the date stuff. Data load. Oh, maybe it is a global setting. Oh gosh, where is Heather when you need her? Heather, I think the last time you guided me were our scripting, security, privacy updates, usage, diagnostics, report. It's not report settings. Steve?
Preview settings, maybe. It's a date hierarchy thing. You can shut it off. I know it's either in.
Oh, there it is. I think we found it. So yeah, so data load, and this part, auto date time. This is the evil one. Yeah. So folks, the thing is. You need to have control. I mean, I don't like, frankly, auto anything. I don't like auto detect relationships either because I want to shape my model with a lot of love and by hand. If I was a boat maker, I'm thinking about the book. Anyway, so yeah, I would be one of those old school guys crafting by boat. Anyway, crafting by hand. So yeah, I don't like this one, so I uncheck it, and I don't like auto detect relationship either. Now, to admit, since it's a file-based setting, not a global setting, I always forget to turn it on. So I think you're all set now.
Yep.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you very much. You're super.
Absolutely. I try to help.
Thank you.
All right. Great. So let's go back to thing, and I'm not really sure how to get out of this. Oh, there we go. Awesome. And hey, if you want, you can turn off screen sharing. I don't know how to do that. Okay, perfect. That's gone. All right, great, folks. So there is there is the Zoom link for you in the YouTube chat as well if you want to dial in. Let's see. Oh gosh, yeah. So Karthikeyan, I know that I'm definitely not capable of creating videos in R. My friend jokes about it. He says, Avi, you can't call yourself an analyst if you don't know R, because that is the language of analysts. And I'm like, I guess I'm not an analyst then. So yeah, I don't know R. But we would get a guest speaker. So we've had some amazing guest speakers. And of course, you can go to my channel and there's a lot of good stuff there. Yeah, so we'll get a guest speaker on R. That's actually, I have the person in mind as well. I've heard her speak at our, oh my gosh, hey guys, can one of you just subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, or have your son subscribe? It'll be nice to hit the 19,000 on this call. No, just kidding. It's all right. It's all good. Thanks for your support. So we will have so I had heard her present R in a user group meeting, and she was amazing. She was pretty phenomenal. So I'll see if I can rope her in. And now that's, of course, in a bigger picture, we're also planning to do that in some fashion in our new program, which is get other industry experts to teach as well, and not just Power BI, but maybe beyond that as well, business and all that sort of stuff. Now, of course, actually, we do have the first speaker is already lined up, the expert speaker inside our course. So that is Christian Osborne. And he's the person who taught me sales.
From a blue collar.
When I started getting leads, I was like, Christian, I don't know what to do. Like, what do I tell them, and what's going to happen next, and what do I do if I am talking to them and I meet them and so forth? And he sat me down and explained the whole thing. And he has this beautiful analogy that he uses, and it's pretty cool. It's about dating. It's like, Avi, you wouldn't do this on the first date, would you? And I'm like, no. Well, then you wouldn't do this with a prospective client either. He's pretty awesome. So we'll have him there. So for R, we're going to get an expert. I'm going to, I should note that down somewhere. So folks, this is the kind of stuff that I was talking about, though. I mean, you saw Hans was kind of stuck somewhere, and this is when I was going back and I was talking about like how to learn with that real Power BI, and I really believe that this cycle is important if you want to accelerate your journey. I mean, otherwise, so this is what the journey, Power BI journey, looks like. It starts off real easy, and you're having so much fun. Like, oh, this is so easy, and there's this whole tagline: 5 seconds to sign up, 5 minutes to wow. So yeah, you're doing wow things in 5 minutes, no doubt about that. And it's like phenomenal. Like, what just happened? But then this happens, and like, oh, it's not that easy. Oh my gosh, it's hard. It's really hard. I can't figure this out. Oh, things were so much better in Excel, and no, they were not, right? And again, we're talking about old Excel, right? So this is whole curve, and so it becomes really hard. But if you persevere, then it becomes easy again. And this is the land where you want to be. So now you've learned a lot. You're a heck of a lot more productive, right? But you've gone over the hump, this hard hump. So what that structure can do for you is shorten that. You don't have to take that red line. It speeds up the journey for you. Oh gosh, was that the 19,000 subscriber? Ooh, we'll check in a second. Right, so yeah, my friends, I mean, you don't have to join my program, but apply this. And you do it in cycles, not in one big cycle. Don't launch on a 6-month project. The first project should be really easy, quick win. Look for something that's hard in the old world, really easy in the new world. But learn, apply, get stuck, get help. And you saw, Hans. Yeah. So you're right. I mean, because sometimes those small things can really get you stuck. And like, gosh, I read everything, double-checked everything, and it's just not working. All right, great. Let's see if we have any other callers. We don't yet. Okay, Sean, if you're still on, my friend, I would love for you to call in through the Zoom thing, and if not, I wasn't able to help you. I mean, I feel like I was so close. Sales, see, you wanted to have it. All right. Anyway, I was gonna shout out. So yeah, friends, if you have any other question, let me know. And otherwise, the risk. I go into story mode, and gosh, so I can definitely go into story mode. Okay, Sean is calling in. Great. So maybe I can do a quick story. So one person who I was talking to on the breakthrough call for this 6 figures thing, he had this beautiful quote, and he said, Avi, I prepare, but I don't start, and I just need to start. But then I was talking to a lot of folks on these calls, and we were trying to figure out if it's the right thing for them or not. And the way that some of the discussion went was, where is that? Some of the discussion went was that we talked about whether they were kind of ready, whether they felt ready for this, but now of course there were some people who were definitely not ready for the program, and we talked about it, and I explained to them that why I think they're not quite ready, and I did invite them to the course and so forth. It's like, hey, why don't you start there, and then when you're ready for this, then we can talk about it. But sometimes the people they're kind of there right on the fence, but they can't make up their mind. And I shared my experience, which is sometimes we're waiting for clarity. We're waiting for that clarity, for the thing to come, or some message, something to just some sign, right, from the universe saying, "Yep, Avi, go do this." And sometimes we don't see it. But sometimes you only see those signs when you do take that step, when you do take that action. So, gosh, if you're, I talked to some folks and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've started in Power BI, but I feel like I'm on thin ice," right? Well, then go take something on. Go do like something like a real Power BI project that we talked about, right? Well, just go start applying it, and hopefully you can find like a supportive environment where you can kind of go through this loop. And of course, when you go for something bigger, like this, the 6-figure Power BI professional, I want to create Power BI leaders. My goal is simple, right? I want people who impact lives, and that will maximize my impact. But sometimes for that, you would have all the doubts and stuff, but when you step up, it'll like snap into place. At least that was my experience with when I left my job and started my own company and joined the Entrepreneurs Program. I was really scared, but by doing that, I found clarity. I was really scared to offer the six figures Power BI professional program, but once I offered that, and especially when I started talking to people, man, it's like I've never felt more alive. I mean, I wake up with all these ideas in my head, and it just feels like. And of course, once you do it, then you feel like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do it earlier? But we gotta go through that journey. All right, so Sean, we have 2 callers on here. Sean, I see you on. I'm not sure. Do we have audio from you?
Yes. Hi, Avi.
Hello, my friend. How are you doing? So why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Just an aspiring Power BI consultant, and I'm looking forward. Actually, I'm actually interested in signing up for your 6-figure program as well.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Must have blanked out. So we have you talked in the breakthrough call?
No, I actually couldn't make it for that one.
Oh, okay.
Are you still only doing? Are you doing the pilot only right now? Is there still seats available?
Oh gosh, yeah. So we closed it last night. I really apologize. Yeah, wish we had talked like yesterday. We closed right now. But what I did want to say was that I want you to remove the just. There's no just about it, about being an aspiring Power BI. It is super duper awesome, right? So yeah, remove that just, and the rest is good. So yeah, you're in a great spot. So let's see. So help me out. What I'm missing something. So tell me, and you can share your screen if you have something. Can I give you keyboard and mouse control? I guess we can do that too. If you want to like take over my screen.
Unfortunately, I can't do that today. I can't share it today, but I sent you a screenshot if you want to take a look, cool. And I can explain.
Did you put it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's in the comment.
And you pasted a link to that, is it? I don't see it.
Okay, I'll try again.
Yeah. If it stops you, I think sometimes it stops like you putting a link, then remove the HTTP from there so that it's like not a link, and then see if it works.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't see it yet.
I'll remove the HTTPS part. It's not showing it still?
Shook. it's.
I think there's some kind of deduplication that it does.
Oh,
I added some text in there.
Oh, that's really weird.
Okay, well, let me explain anyway.
Oh, wait. So hold on. Is it? Are you putting in the YouTube chat? Maybe you can put in like the Zoom chat. Let's try that.
Okay. Chat.
Gear is having trouble, but it double count and active in February.
I don't see a chat area where I can paste it.
Something should have, like a hi, hello, should have popped up on your side. Something is glowing, flashing in the Zoom window.
Oh yeah, I see it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah. Oh man, it's been so we used. I love the tools that make all of this possible. Zoom, we use. Oh, perfect. So I got this snaggy thing. All right, we got it to work. Nice. Oh yes. So you're saying, got it. So you want different measures, but you want year to date, last year to date, year to date target. Perfect. Done, man. All right, got it. So let's pick this. Come on. Ooh. And we're gonna grab this, and let's go to our notes. Are you able to see my see my
yes,
screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, so we got this. Now I know what we're looking for. Great, and we're gonna move this down here. All right, folks. So what we have here is, let's compare it with what I had done. Was it here? Nope. Adventure works. So I had measures kind of over here and a dimension over there, and we don't want that. We want, essentially what we're doing here is these are different measures. We want sales measure over here, or let's call it calculation, cost calculation over here, and other stuff. But then we want to say year to date, last year-over-year target. So the approach to that is going to be using disconnected slicers. Have you used that? It's a disconnected slicer or a disconnected table. Have you used that? Have you used that technique?
I've heard of that. I've heard of disconnected table, but I haven't used it. There's one other thing that I tried, which is in the cross tab in the format pane. There's a setting called show on rows, and it worked a little bit what I'm looking for, but it only showed one column of values. But I needed those extra columns.
Yeah, that's right. So let's see if we can do show on rows first, just so folks know what we're talking about.
So are you sure you don't want my money and let me in the six-figure program?
Gosh, yeah, that's a hard one, but yeah. So our coach has drilled that into our head, and he says, I mean, if you don't keep your word, then your word means nothing. That kind of stuff. So yeah, he's scared us enough, and like, no, we true to the deadline. Yeah. So
maybe when it goes live, GA.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So April will be done with the beta, and so beta has its own advantages, of course, but yeah, the end product, you'll get the polished hard work from all the beta participants. So yeah, that's not a bad option either, right? So are you in my course? And gosh, there was a time when I knew all the students. Now I don't anymore. So are you enrolled in my Power BI course?
Yes.
Oh, you are. Oh, awesome, man. Hey, you're family then. All right, great. All right, so we must have spoken before then. I'm blanking out.
Yeah, I haven't called in before, but I have attended your Friday sessions and asked a question before. Last time I asked about connecting Excel to the local Power BI model, and that was great because I got tired of analyzing in Excel and keep uploading my be my model to the service every time I wanted to make a change.
Oh, perfect.
What you did was really helpful.
Yeah, so this is great. So I can point you to resources inside the course. So DAX, there are these lessons on disconnected slicer, disconnected tables. So you can go back and kind of reference that. But let's just go ahead and kind of solve this for you. So I was going to do this. And where is that thing to show on rows? Where is that? Move to, you can show something on columns. Did that work?
Show on rows. It's the matrix property. If you go to the formatting, and then I just search rows, and then it shows it. But not in. Got it. I haven't seen it in your program yet. So it has to be. No, sorry. In the format pane. The painter thing.
Oh, I see what it did. So instead of it does something different. I mean, instead of
exactly right there. So search rows. Yeah, search rows, and then you'll see show rows at the bottom.
Yeah. Hey,
right
hold
there.
on. Let me do this. So I think the YouTube one is slightly laggy. So I'll share screen on Zoom as well. You can turn off YouTube for a bit. That way.
Okay. Yeah, I was watching the YouTube one. Okay.
No, don't want that. Hold on. Let's see. Share. Which one? This one. Okay. Do you see like the Power BI thing?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, great. Show the measures on rows, takes them kind of from here and puts them over here, which is not what you're looking for, but that can be useful in some cases.
It's close, but it's only one column, right? So this will show, for example, it's not exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So you need something else. So I'm pretty convinced that disconnected slicers is the way to go. So we're gonna start there. And this will take a little bit, all right? So just bear with me. And initially we'll do some setup. So let's go back over to this one. And year to date, okay, got it. So we'll just probably do two of them. We'll just do, I mean, you'll see the pattern.
As long as you do 2 by 2 would show the concept.
Exactly. So we'll go to that. Oh, don't want that. I want to go here. And so I want to, so what I want to do is, it's really, it's like we want variations of the measures. We want like, let me say, like measure with, So basically, Power BI doesn't let you do this.
In the accounting world, like it's pretty standard, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do is that since Power BI doesn't let us do that, we're going to make either the rows or the columns into a table. And I think for this one, we're going to go with the columns. We're going to make that a table, right? So you'll see what we do right here. So I'm creating a table, which is, I don't know, we'll call it just report label. No, actually we'll say let's just say measure type, and we'll say QTD year to date. Maybe we'll do 3 actual, quarter date, year to date, and we'll say column headers, something like that. Doesn't really matter. All right, cool. So we got a table, and what you feed in the table is this stuff, whatever you want on there, right? So in my case, I fed that, apply changes.
Yeah, I was up all night looking for it, and I did find one of your videos regarding the financial series, and you did go over. You had a disconnected table, and you used a switch statement, but I couldn't somehow wrap my head around it.
Budget, that stuff. So that is on YouTube as well. If you're in the pro level, that there's good content. It goes a little bit slower on there. So inside, so pro level mini courses, that one goes a little slower and yeah,
Okay.
goes a little more in depth as well.
Thank you.
So hey, so if yeah, so in here the financial reports and statements. If yeah, if you're not in the pro level and you want to enroll, let me know. That's I can make that work for you. All right, terrific. So let's come back here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this in a picture on my second screen, just so I can keep myself grounded. Like that's the end goal. So I have that on the second screen. But in here now we have the labels. So let's do this. So what if we added the measures in a matrix, and we said, oh well, let me just, what happened? Didn't I? Oh, there we go. That's my duplicate. Oops. Let's just go with that solution. Okay, good. So we'll delete this stuff, Oh, we'll keep that actually. All right, and we're going to remove the country. We don't care about that, but we have sales. Oh, I see what you want. So, oh gosh, that's interesting. So we have coordinate. Oh, maybe I did the wrong thing. Hold on. Let me think about it once. So I said you can create a table out of either of those. So if you have sales year to date, yeah, this is gonna work, right? How do we get these labels?
It's a weird one.
So we want sales. Oh, we want. Oh, I think I said we need one. I think we need both tables there. Sales and cost. Let's do that. So let's go back to the model and let's build that table. So we have column headers. Gosh, I do feel like there might be a simpler way. Hey, folks on YouTube, if you see me, so Geared, the way to share screenshots is you paste it online and put the link in, although you might have to remove the HTTP and even the www or something. So pasteboard.co lets you paste screenshots. There's lots of other places we can just to paste something in there. Yeah, Arthur, we did talk about that a little bit earlier. Okay, so online on YouTube, I'll dive into this, but if you see that I took the hard road, then I'll check back with you. But for now, earlier I thought I need one table. I feel like I need both, so I'm going to create both of them. So we're going to create those labels, and this time we're going to create the row labels, and we'll say row label. Row labels, and gosh, I'll just say row label, and this will be sales and this will be cost. That's it. Let's just do 2 sales and cost. Got it. I didn't name them consistently. Not happy about that. Let's just go fix that really quick. So we're going. So we had, and let's change this to column labels, and same thing over here. Okay, there we go. Column label. Got that. You can watch it. All right. All right. Column labels, row labels. Looks good. Looks good. Let's bring that in, and we'll build the shell. And then we'll just write a super measure which does everything. So now, and again, what we're trying to build is this. So year to date, something like that there, sales cost over here. So let's go back to this one, and we're gonna add a matrix, put that over there, add the size. Oh, weird, you gotta add something first, I guess. So we're gonna add column labels in columns, row labels in here. And let's just add, I don't know, sales for here. Why is it complaining? Okay, cool. So right now, obviously, it's just, I mean, we have the structure, the measure isn't working. But do you think if we could get these numbers to behave, this would be it?
Yes, that would be it.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So we're gonna add something here, and it will say, oh gosh, sales.
It's almost like you have to index when you say dates year to date. You have to grab that the table label using some kind of concatenation. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let's.
But I don't know if you can even string together functions like that.
Actual cost, sales, quarter date, year to date. Okay, let's simplify this a little bit. Maybe you can remove actual. So let's say column label is quarter date, year to date. Oh, nice. This is really cool. Okay, quarter date, year to date, and we can turn off the totals. I'm not. Okay, perfect. So that one is gone. That's good. Let's make it big. I don't get it. Isn't there a size here? Oh, there we go. All right, and let's do spotlight. Okay, so let's. I mean, frankly, once you see me writing it, you'll know exactly what I'm trying to do. So let's go measure here, and we'll say super measure, and you can say var selected row equals selected value row label, and we'll say,
oh my god, that's genius. That's genius.
I know, and man, that's the power of disconnected tables. They let you play God, because there's so many scenarios. So some of the classic scenarios in finance are, you know how sometimes you show the numbers where even the negative numbers are really positive. So you would show like revenue, and then you would say expenses, but expenses isn't shown negative in some reports. But when you add up, it should obviously add up as a negative, right? You can do things like that. P&L reporting, where you need very specific headers and subheaders and all that stuff. Disconnected slicers, yeah, just let you play God. So you can bend it to your will. Really, really powerful. So selected value, and we'll say column label, and then it's just basically like a switch, and then if then else, if then statement, I think. So return, and we'll say switch, and we'll start with the row label, maybe selected row, selected, come on. Oh, of course, it's a function. So selected row, and then I'm going to say if the row is cost, And then I'm going to do a simple if then. You can do a switch in here as well. If selected column equals QTD, then cost QTD. And I don't have the measure, so it'll complain, but that's okay.
That's okay, yeah. So I can just put my measure in that I've already calculated for QTD. I can just put it in there.
Yeah. So I think switch would be better. Switch selected column, and you can say if for QTD, do this. For year to date, do cost year to date, and I'm going to close the switch and copy the whole thing and do sales. If it's sales, then I'll go switch. So sometimes people are tempted to build this using like a DAX table, but the challenge with that is that it's not dynamic, so it's not going to respect any slicers. Oh, I have spaces in there. Come on. And I'll just define those really quick. So switch and then switch. Actually, what we can do is comment out cost and see if the whole thing still works. Perfect. So now we're gonna put our super measure in there. And yeah, I mean it's let me just do the cost really quick and everything will work. So if we go new measure, cost Q today equals the same pattern, calculate cost dates QTD. Oh, missed a bracket. This QTD date. Do I not have cost defined? Come on. So yeah, I mean, you know the pattern now, but I'll just kind of finish it. Oh wait, it's saying something went wrong. Ignore it. Okay, cool. So we have we don't have cost yet. No worries. Let's add that. So say cost equals sum cost. Okay, we got cost quarter date, and we're gonna copy that and do cost year to date. All right, wait. Okay, so now if we go back to our super measure, we should be able to uncomment that line.
I'm going to call mine the God measure.
Love it. Oh gosh. So yeah, and yeah, whatever labels you can think of and create and so forth. Now,
That's amazing.
There's one tip, which is it sorts by default alphabetically. So if you have a few of these, so let's look at your example. You know, you
Yep.
never end up having it alphabetical. So I'll show it here. I mean, you probably already know, but I'll just
We can put a number in there or something.
yeah, exactly. So it's a column you only
one
use for
dot.
sorting. So if you have like column labels, and let's see what we're doing. Q, Y, so that one looks good. But let's say we wanted to show sales at the top, not cost. We can go back and add that numbering in there.
Nice. Yeah, that's not a bad limitation.
So let's say 1, 2. Oh, yeah. So sales is 1, cost is 2, and so right now it's doing alphabetical. Now, of course, I mean, there's just 2, so you can reverse sort it. But if you have multiple, then you want to have a very specific order usually when you're doing things like that. Like, I want to see this first, then this, then this, then this. And
that's
same
right.
way for columns.
And typically they would want to see maybe, yeah, they would have a certain order that they want. So, and then when it comes to the other slicers, like, you know, to change the year context and everything, all of that will
all of that
will
will
flow
work,
right through. Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
So let me see why it's not working. Oh, it's not working because I don't have a number column in there. I forgot to change the sort. I think to a number. Sorry, what was the last question again? Oh yeah, the slicers and everything would work. Yeah, I mean, I love this approach. So a lot of times people like start hacking this. They start doing this in the query editor, or they start doing this using a DAX table. Both of those are you know, kind of yeah, misguided, because it leaves it not being dynamic anymore. So let's go back here, and we're gonna change this to a whole number, and we come back.
Okay, and you mentioned disconnected slicer.
Yeah,
is that something different?
No, it's a technique which has like 1,000 different applications. So I'll show you. I'll back up a little and I'll talk about what I mean here. Let me just fix this here. So sort by. So once I do a sort by, then sales should show up at the top.
If the gods allow it.
Okay, great. So we'll save this one, and I'll give you a link right here, so that yeah, you kind of have it handy. So we'll put it in the 2019 files. 2019 0201. Oh, I know the date, and this is for Sean, and we are talking about, I don't know, the God measure. Gosh. I don't want them burning my effigy on the streets tomorrow, you know. All right, cool. So yeah, so I'll get the file to you, and let's do the whole slicer thing. But that's yeah. So if we add like a slicer over here, and of course any other filtering coming from anywhere in the model, it'll filter down. So if you can say yep, but show me for Canada, show me for this product, that product, all of that stuff. Come on, Canada, you can do it. Oh yeah, there we go. It was, man, it's definitely been working a little bit slow. I guess I have a lot running. So yeah, totally dynamic. Okay, so let's save this file, share the link first before I forget. And folks, if you want to access any of these files, any of these notes from our calls, from the past calls, then just go to talkpowerbi.com. And but I'll put this, share this here for Sean. Okay, there we go. Got it. And I'm gonna put it in. Let's see if I can. Where did the Zoom thing go? Oh, I think the Zoom call dropped off. Not fun. Let me start again. Okay. Let's see, go back to here, and this is for Sean. To get all the files from past calls and notes, go to the www.powerbi.com. All right, you guys are all set. Let's take some more questions. So Virjendra was saying, yeah, Steve, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, is it Geert has a follow-up question?
Yeah.
You seem to run into a little issue there with what you guys have been talking about before.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Geert, we might have to look at what's going on in your file. So if you can you dial in, and I'll put the Zoom link. I don't know if I requested you that earlier. Yeah, so let's see if you can dial in. I'm going to paste that link again. That's for Geert. And, okay, got it. Yeah, so Sean got that. Okay, perfect. Let's see if we can do some other questions. Rajendra did have a comment. He said, hey, this something like this is easily done in Tableau using parameters. Would love to see in Power BI. Yeah, I don't know much of Tableau. But that's great. Good to hear. And folks, yeah, I mean, Tableau is not Power BI's competitor the way I see it. Power BI, I use Power BI, and I recommend Power BI to organizations for its data modeling capabilities. And for Tableau, they're taking baby steps there, but it's a visualization tool. It's a very powerful visualization tool. It has some elements in there. I mean, you can define kind of formulas and stuff, but it's not comparable. It's apples and oranges when it comes to the modeling capabilities. So that's what Power BI is. You should pick one modeling tool for your organization, or right? But you can choose multiple visualization tools. There's no limitation. With a Power BI model, you can connect Tableau to it. You can, of course, build Power BI reports off of it, use Excel as a visualization tool, use SSRS, or a host of other tools, right? So you can connect a whole bunch of multiple visualization tool, and so that's a separate space. And the reality there is always going to be multiple visualization tools. It's never going to be just one tool. Don't try to do that. There are organizations I talk to who are like, oh yeah, we're getting everybody off of Excel, and I often don't say anything because, man, you lost it. You know, I mean, you don't want to do that. It's, for one, it's almost impossible to do. So people are gonna kind of secretly keep using Excel. Excel is being used inside Tableau. No surprise there, right? So so one person that I really pushed hard, I'm like, what do you mean? I mean, no, I mean, what do you mean? And he said, and then he said, we're moving them to. So he didn't want to say it, right? You know, but eventually when I said, what do you mean no Excel? How's that possible? Like, how does the business user does it, and da 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 da, all of that sort of stuff. Like, I mean, and they're like, well, we're giving them Google Sheets, and I'm like, dude, you're taking them from Excel to shitty Excel. I mean, and no, you know, I'm not taking a shot at Google Sheets. It's great for what it does, but for somebody who's used to Excel, Google Sheets feels like shitty Excel, you know. So if you use, yeah, I mean, you know, so yeah, don't try to push Excel out. Don't try to think that you can standardize on one visualization tool.
I'm not taking a shot at Google Sheets. It's great for what it does, but for somebody who's used to Excel,
you have a caller.
Shitty Excel.
So, myself. All right. Hey, Geert, mute me on YouTube, and you can shut down YouTube or pause it if you can, and then go ahead and unmute yourself here. All right. So we have Geert on the call. Man, this is awesome. This is so awesome. Gosh, I better check if I have anything else going on. I lose track of time. How good is that? So last time we talked about hard work. I mean, is this me working hard? I don't know. Okay. I have a meeting in a little bit later. All right, so Geert, I can see your screen. That's awesome. Let's see if you can unmute yourself here on Zoom. Well, let me. Did that work? Hold on, let me unmute you. Let me see if I can hear you. Hey, Geert.
Yes.
Oh, I said Geert.
Yay. Oh wait. Oh gosh, we're still seeing that echo. Make sure you shut me down on YouTube.
Okay, I'm a bit confused here.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Yep. There we go.
Oh wait. Oh, gosh, we're still seeing that echo. Make sure you shut me down on YouTube.
Yeah. Pause it. Stop it. Something. Is it done? Let's see. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Dang.
Oh wait.
Yeah, just hit the stop button and that. Oh, close it. You got it?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Oh gosh, I think we're still seeing the echo. So the video, the YouTube that you have playing, you have to shut that guy up. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So that thing, which is me talking again. Yeah. Perfect. Oh, that was stopped. Oh, sorry. So that was delayed. Yeah. Go ahead. You had it. You had it. That was good. Just hit that stop thing again.
Echo. So the video, the YouTube that you have playing, you have.
Okay. Yes. We're set. Awesome. So great. So hey, so bring up your Power BI file, and this is going live on YouTube. So just make sure, be careful of what you show.
There's nothing special on that.
Awesome. There you go. Yep. Just.
But I need to find my. I need to find what I share with you.
I am looking at the whole desktop. Yes, I'm looking at the YouTube window right now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you brought up the Power BI with column charts and stuff.
So now we have a Power BI chart.
Yeah.
Okay. I have found out that we register some contracts that end, and we see something that starts within a month, and then we have something that goes through, that is start before the month and ends after the month. And we have some then start within the month and end within the month.
Yeah,
and I think
got it.
It's okay here, because here we can see I have in January, I have started one.
Started one in, well, that's in December. Yeah, got it.
Oh, sorry, December.
Mm-hmm.
It's also counted as an active one.
Makes sense, yeah.
Started and is an active one.
Mm-hmm.
So we can now see then that in January we have 2 that started plus the one that is active.
Yeah.
So this is okay, but my objection is that the one that is started and within a month is not an active one. No, sorry, that's an active one. So I don't know how to explain it, because this in fact looks okay to me. Maybe I should just present it to my employees.
Well, I mean, my advice would be that when I'm thinking numbers, I always turn a graph into a list or a matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I look at that, and then I look at that number, and then if I say, hey, is that right? In the sense that, is it what I expect to see there? If I don't expect to see there, it's like, oh, that number should be a 3, not a 2. That should be a 6 and a 5. Then I start debugging, So you can, you can look at the numbers, and you can tell me if that looks right or not.
Yeah.
If the numbers look right, then good to go, right? So then of course there's the other challenge. I don't think that bar graph that you had was maybe there is a different way you can visualize it, right? But then that's a different problem you're solving. You're not solving measures or anything. You can see in a list that the measure is working, thumbs up, numbers look right. and then you can decide, what if I visualize it this way and that way and so forth, right? So that becomes a different thing.
And this is correct because
sweet.
When it started, of course it's an active contract within that month, even if it's closed within that month. So I think this is okay. And I'm very happy, and I'm very glad that I found your course. And I really recommend it to whoever.
Yeah. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. But you know, we're the sum of our parts. So the course, I always say that I know a bigger part of the course is not the course now; it's the community, and it's made by every one of us in there. So yeah, thanks for being part of that.
I'm very glad. I'm looking into your pro course also.
Terrific. Yeah, that sounds great. Awesome, Geert. Yeah, looks like you're all set. That's good. Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
All right. All right, folks. Oh my God, this is awesome. What do we do now? So guys, if I missed your question, type it in again. Maybe we can take Arthur's question. All right. So Arthur, hey, I'll try to tackle your question. If you're watching, hey, just dial in. I would love to talk to you. 7:38. Let's see what Arthur has. I think I say, oh gosh, like let's say your name. Is it just Arthur? Arthur. Anyway, apologize if I'm butchering your name. How do you build a measure where you calculate sales for previous month, which is immune to any date filter context, always showing previous month in relation to today? Managed to do that, but it's long. Aha. So my question to you is, my friend, are you using just any odd calendar table out there, or are you using the ultimate calendar table, the best of the best? Okay, I'm just messing with you guys. So ultimate calendar table. I don't know how I came up with that name. I like it now. So yeah, so thanks to Marianne on our team. The good stuff is right up top. So ultimate calendar table is here, and it talks about a magical thing called offsets, which is what we're going to use. Okay, so let's go do that. So we're gonna, we have Geert, and this was all set, and Geert was helped out. I'm gonna close this. All right. Well, there's some stuff that. Hello. I'm gonna call you Peter. Hi there. I'm not sure what Polish. Is that Polish? I'm not really sure. Hi, definitely a hello. Okay, cool. So let's go over. So now we are helping. We're helping Arthur, and he wants to show the previous month, no matter what the filter context. He's like, I don't want to care about the filter context. Who cares about the filter context? So we're gonna bring up our sample file, and if you're just joining, any file that we create, you can just get it, grab it by going to talkpowerbi.com. And if you do that, you also become a member of the Insiders Club, and you're welcome to join in using the Zoom link as well. It's kind of an honorary thing now, but yeah, it's all good. Oh gosh, how's stuff going on over here? Wow, that's great. Oh, weird call. All right. Is the file open? So again, the goal is to show the numbers for previous month, which doesn't care one bit about the filter context. It always shows you the previous month. Always. No matter what. Oh, let's see. Do I have the ultimate calendar table here? Sometimes I have like old sample files where I wasn't using the ultimate calendar. Let me check. Yeah, I think this one is good. it might not work with this data set because it doesn't have the last month. Let me check. So if you go over to our calendar, it has a concept of an offset, and for this to work, you do need your model to be refreshed on a schedule daily. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. Well, at least monthly, because it's only when you refresh that these things get updated. So let me just see. So this is the ultimate calendar table. It's built, and the sign here is that it doesn't connect to anything. It builds the table inside Query Editor. How cool is that? Right. So yeah, you can go check the query dependencies view, and the calendar table like stands alone, stands tall. He's like the king. So you can see the calendar table is not connected to any source. It's not coming from anything. It's just created in here. So we have the ultimate calendar table, and let's go back in there, and it has, so we'll say this one we're solving for Arthur, and we'll go over here, and I'm going to say month year, which might need sorting. Oh, it might not. It looks good. And we're going to make it super tall. And I'm going to add the current month offset on there. And I'm going to say, please don't sum it. Just show me the maximum. There's only one value in there. So the way the current offset works is, again, it updates when you refresh. So I haven't refreshed this since August 2018. So it's stuck there. It's stuck back in time. But if I refresh it, it'll catch up, and it'll say that January 2019 is the current month. And it tells the current month by putting a 0 on it. So 0 is the current month, -1 is the previous one, 1 is the next month. And of course, it has current month offset, but you can also do current week offset, current year offset, current fiscal year offset, whatever you want, right? And it gives you a whole ton of flexibility. For example, if you say, you know what? So the first time I thought of the ultimate calendar concept was when I had created a report, and we had multiple years of data, and it was a sales report, and it was filtered to, gosh, when did I leave Microsoft? 2014 something. Wow. 2014. So 2013 I created a report, and everything was filtered to 2013. I put the year filter in there because I didn't want the previous years in there. Great. And I said, you know what, when the next year comes along, I'll just go in and update it. But be wary of that. Really, now I'm wary of anything I have to do manually, even if it's a simple step, because I know that's where it starts. The world that I lived in the old Excel world, was a death by 1,000 cuts. And there's a reason why those people are overworked and underappreciated. And I was in that spot for a long time, because you're doing all of these small things which add up to something big, but you can never explain. You know, if you start talking to somebody, like somebody say, hey, can you refresh that report? And you would say, man, I'm slammed. You say, really? What are you working on? And you can't say anything. What are you going to say? You know, like, oh, it's just 1,000 different things. So I watch out for anything small. So what ended up happening was that once 2014 came along, I thought I'm going to go in and update the reports. But by that time, we didn't have just one report. We had multiple reports connected to that model. And I'm like, oh, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. And then it was like more than a month before I got around to doing it. And I'm like, enough of that. I want these to update automatically. I want to be able to tell the model that, hey, always show the current year. Simple, right? So that's what this does. So you can say, always show the current year, always show the current month, always show the previous month, always show the last 3 months, always show the last 2 years, 3 years, whatever, right? All of that. So all of that is possible and more, my friend. So here we're going to use this. And what we're going to do is, so again, remember, we're back in time. So right now it thinks August is the current month. So the previous month is July. And dang it, it's July 2018. I don't think we have data for July 2018. Let's just, let's see what we can do. Maybe we'll pretend that we're further back in time or something like that. So which year is this? What happened to the year? So if we go year, I don't think we have data for 2018. Do we have data for 2017? We don't. Okay, guys, so close your eyes and I'm gonna shift that data forward. Be right back. So I'm gonna go to sales, and can I do this? Date. Power query add years. I think like date add or something like that. Oh, there we go. Date.add years. Awesome, sweet. So I'm gonna go back here, and what if we say transform date only? Is that gonna work? Yeah, that's good. So oh, nope, that didn't work. So order date transform year. Let's try that. Date dot add years. Add years. I don't know if this is gonna work. Oh shoot. Okay. Hey, I tried. Let's try it the other way. So order date, and we're gonna do add column, custom column. New order date equals date dot add years, and order date comma 2. Actually, I think I missed the comma 2. I might have gotten that. New order date, got it. And we're gonna actually, hold on guys, I was trying to be fancy, and maybe I can. So if I go back to order date and say transform date, let's try start of the year. Oh, interesting. Does that work? Nope, dang it. Okay, back to square one. Add column, custom column. New order date, date dot add years. Give me order date comma 2, and then we'll delete this guy and change this one to order date, and we'll change this to date, I think. Alright, so let's see how that works. So that should give us data in 2018. So again, we're working on Arthur's problem to always show the previous month regardless of the date filter context. And he said he was able to solve it, but it was hard. Let's see how you guys are hanging out on Facebook. Oh, he asked the ultimate calendar. Great. Arthur's posting too. Okay, cool. Awesome. So let's see if we go 2018. Oops, I think I lost the relationship. Calendar, yeah, so let's do let's connect these two. And order date and date. Okay, let's see how this looks. All right, perfect. So 2018 does have data, and we're gonna get rid of some of the stuff here, and we'll just do this one, I guess. Title series off. So instead of that, we'll add months on there, and we'll say give me month. Great. So we have that, and let's add a filter context here. Oh, sorry, a slicer. So let's add, let's just add a month slicer. All gonna work the same. So right now you can see that, and let's copy this guy and forget this one and this one and this one, and we're going to create a new measure here, which is always the previous month. Sales for previous month, and I'm not sure. I'm just calling it kind of static, just to, you can name it whatever works best for you. So here, and I did want to remove the, how do I say, okay, perfect, right? So we have sales, and if you you know, so sales for, so this one respects this date filter context, right? So right now the filter context is set to 2018, so that's what it's showing you. But notice that January says 886, so if I click on January, it shows that. And then February, if I do like January, February, March, it updates based on that. Come on. You can do it, my friend. January, February, March. Total. Where's the total? Great. So you can see it just respects the filter context. So here we had January, February, March. They add up to 27, so it shows 27. But we don't want that. We don't care about that. As far as we know, we're back in time. So the current month is August. I'll put the current month offset here as well, just so we can kind of see it. Minimum. And if I clear it, you can see that in this model right now, the current month is 0, so previous month is July. So that's what we want. We want the measure to always return 1.34 million. Now, of course, it's not always going to return 1.34 million because it's still going to be responsive. So if you select, hey, show me for bikes, then it's going to return 1.25 million, right? If you filter on accessories, or if you filter on the country is US, so it's going to be responsive, but it's always going to be locked into July. So let's go do that, and we're going to do a new measure. It's working. It's coming up anytime now. There we go. And we're going to say sales previous month, and we'll just say static. And then, so we're going to start with our magic wand, calculate. So we're going to say, I do want to calculate sales, but, so that's the filter expression. It's a but, right? So think about how a human asks a question, and so the example that I use sometimes in my class, I think, is imagine you asked for directions from Issaquah, that's where I live, it's close to Seattle, Issaquah to Seattle, and Google Maps is going to show me directions. But then I said, but I want to avoid toll roads. It might change the direction, but I want to avoid highways, right? So that's what this is, like calculate sales, but. So I want to say calculate sales, but always lock down to that 1 month. So first of all, oh gosh, so I know there's a little bit of a delay, but I'll ask it anyway. If you hear it, type it in, and we'll see who typed it in. What is the function to ignore filter context, to remove filter context, if you will? All right, so I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so it's in a delay, so probably by the time I hear it, I would have typed it. So if you saw it and don't type it after that. Just Scout's honor. All is a way to clear filter context. So we're going to use all. So we're going to use all calendar, and let's just stop there. So we'll say all calendar, and this is like a hammer because it's like removes everything on calendar. And you can be more specific in all calendar. You can remove like only the month or something like that. But for now, we're just going to remove everything. And we're going to use our new measure over here. And this is not what we want yet, right? So right now, you can see that it's, we got the hammer to it. So it's returning not July, it's returning like the everything. Oh, wow. You guys are so good. Oh, Arthur can see ahead. Yep. So Arthur, you know the answer already, but I'll walk the rest of the crowd through it, right? So we clear that, and then we set the filter to say -1, and that's it. Yep. So all calendar, and then I'm going to say, but wait. Calendar current month offset equals -1. Now, I'm not actually sure this is going to work. And if it doesn't work, we'll come back, fix it. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, it did work. Dang it. I don't know. Some part of me was like, it's not going to work. So, yeah, so you can see July, it's 1340245. But my theory and my hypothesis is that it's going to lock in on it regardless of the date or calendar filter context. Now, if I change like accessories or budget, or let's change this one to country, and it's going to respect all of that. Come on. Oh, gosh. And we're going to change this to country. Let's just change this to area turn. So it's going to respect all of those filters, but just not respect the time filter. So what if I say January? So again, this number is going to update. Oh boy, untouched. It's like, I'm like a rock. So January didn't work. So of course, if I go January, February, March, everything else changes. But this guy is like, no, I'm solid. But if you say, hey, what about Germany though? Then it's going to change. So if you say Germany, well, this is for Germany. So now if I clear the filter on here, you can see that for Germany, indeed, July was 154. So yeah, I mean, it's like awesome, right? All right. All right. So Arthur, what do you think? If that worked, then you can grab this file. If you're already a member of the Talk Power BI Insider Club, then you have the link already. Otherwise, just go to talkpowerbi.com and you know the answer now. So if you're using my calendar table, you're all set. You know what to do. So we'll say 2019-0201, and this was by Arthur, and we'll say always return previous month. And congratulations to, of course, Steve and Arthur as well, Prashant as well, for guessing the right one. All is to clear filters. Prashant is saying, is there a way to only remove date filter context, but keep the filter context of a matrix? Well, isn't that what we did? I mean, this one, if this wasn't a matrix, it would keep everything else. So this whole thing, you can put this in a matrix, so, I mean, I'm not going to use can I use a matrix? I guess I can. So here, you can put this measure on there. Sales, previous things static. And, well, let's try something a little differently. Let me move the month over there. And let's get rid of this guy. Let's make this a little smaller. And I'm going to copy paste this. And then you're going to say, instead of month, I want to get country. That's because it's filtered here. But yeah, so here, this one, it's showing you the July numbers for each of these. So it's respecting this filter context. So filter context, just to back up a bit, comes from a few places. It comes from rows, columns. It comes from slicers. It comes from filter in the filter pane. And you can introduce it in the calculate as well. Great. If you are at a stage where you're like trying to deal with the filter context, row context, for one, if I can do it, you can too. and right in the top, we have the I can rule. So I can do it. Well, I can. Yeah, it explains like step by step how, and these are really simple concepts. It's crazy how simple it is. All right, so Prashant, what do you think? I mean, I think the measure as we wrote it, that's exactly what it does. It just blows away everything in the calendar because we told it to, but then doesn't touch anything else. So it respects everything else. So whatever, yeah, and it behaves that way regardless of what visualization you use, matrix, pie chart, anything else. All right, hopefully that helps. Arthur saying, thanks, it is better than my combination of variables and filters and data add functions. Great, I'm glad. Yeah, simple is good. Gosh. Alberto is saying, during my MBA career, they never show us all these platforms. I wonder why. Well, they do show Excel. I think things are changing. I know my friends who are starting to teach in college. Christian Osborne, he's been featured on there. I speak to Mike Gervin, amazing guy. Probably all of you know him. I mean, he's featured on my channel. He's right there. Excel is fun, which it is, right? So, and gosh, that guy has like, oops, oh gosh, 500,000 subscribers. He's so big that YouTube, when they did a newsletter, they mentioned him, and they said, guys, so this was their annual newsletter, so I got it, and then I'm like, shit, they're talking about Mike Gervin, right? So so he's teaching at a college and he's teaching this stuff, so it's starting to happen. But since you brought up MBA, I will say that when I started my business, there was a small part of me, thankfully very small, which did think about MBA, and I'm so glad I didn't go for that. So there are lots of businesses out there, and there's that, kind of that, I don't know, Fortune 500 company, and if you want to be something like that, I don't know, like, right, banker or something like that, then that's great. But I run a business. Hey, I run a business, but I think MBA would have been like a total waste of money for me. So I joined a program designed specifically for online digital entrepreneurs, and that taught me exactly how to do this stuff, and just obviously I'm gonna pass on some of that in the 6 Figures Power BI professional program as well, because that's what it's about. I want them to be successful professionals. Now, frankly, whether you're acting as a consultant or you are an employee, you still got to operate like a CEO. You've heard that before, right? You got to operate like a CEO. So I think the lessons apply, even if you're an employee. But the things that I learned there were different. I know one thing that I'm going to focus on. I'm going to work with everyone who's in that program is to build your social presence. Now, social presence is an interesting thing. It's got so many benefits. I mean, for one, I just use example of. Imagine you walk into a room and people know you. And imagine you're walking in for an interview or you're talking to a prospective client. It just changes the whole game. If it's an interview and they go, whoa, Avi. Or they don't even have to do that. All they have to do is, hey, haven't I seen you somewhere? And then you can say, yeah, I'm on YouTube and you may have seen me there, right? Or I'm somewhere, right? In the interview is kind of yours to lose at that point, It's a huge factor. And for prospective clients, I know when I started doing this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna sell myself? And do I have to build a fancy PowerPoint deck? I hate that. I wasn't keen on that. So, but I walked in with nothing. I wasn't I had my computer. That's it. It was closed, and I walk in, and this is how the conversation went. They explained to me the problem they were having. They showed me the stuff. They were connecting the systems, and this is a problem we're having. And they said, Avi, can you help us solve it? And I was like, what? Isn't there a part where I have to sell you? Yeah, so if they know you, there's no selling involved. And I don't know, I just find that easier. So we're going to be talking about that sort of stuff. And that's what I got from my program. And of course, it went on beyond that, and we'll package that stuff in there. So anyway, side note, so Arthur has to sign off. Thank you, my friend. So Prashant is saying, yeah, you get blanks. Hey, if there's something you can share then yeah, Gary's asking, did I reach 19,000? Let me check. Ooh, I'm kind of nervous. Did I get? Let's see. I gotta catch up with this guy. No, just kidding. He's cool. 545 XL. Awesome. Did I get? Oh yay, 19,004. Oh, that's great. So thank you so much, guys. I love you. I love you all. All right. So Prashant, gosh, it must be late over there now. But can you dial in? Can you show me? Or if you dial in, it does make things a little bit easier. Let me see if I can grab the link. And is it still on? Okay, hold on. Let me restart it, and then I'll send it to you. So we go back here, talk Power BI, column link, and we go. Where did the chat window go? If you want to dial in. You had an amazing story, by the way. Thanks for sharing that the last time you'd called in. That's pretty awesome. Thank you, Loretta Sue. Yep. Yeah. So I was saying something about social presence, and I also wanted to add one more thing there, which is it's not about the number. Yeah, it's not about that. So I was talking to my YouTube coach, and we were having a conversation, and he said, Avi, I know people who have I don't know, like sometimes hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but they're barely making any money off of that. And there's some people who have like 2,000 subscribers and making a killing. We're talking like multiple seven figures, right? So it's just depends on how you monetize it. And so yeah, so you can, in my business group, I mean, I've seen people like launch a new program or launch some kind of a consulting business with small groups, 20. Now, of course, there are superstars. There are superstars like Jeru Niga. I would call him a mindset coach, but he's like way more than that. Business coach, something like that. But he's the kind of guy who gets like a following of like 20 people, and he gets them in a room, and he gets all of them to sign up and commit to whatever he's offering. So and of course it's not about like sales tax or something. Frankly, the key to sell, at least what I've learned and what I've seen, is when you're not selling, right? So yeah, it just so for the 6 Figures program, one of my friends really helped me. So she's Ali Amazing Daniel, and we'll probably have her on the channel as a guest someday because she is so amazing. And I was talking to her about this, and she's like, Avi, just relax. You're not selling. It's not a sales call. All you're doing is seeing if it's a good fit for both of you. That's it. I'm like, that's it? Like, okay, that's easy. So that's how I started every single one of those calls. Like, hey, this is it. This is what we're doing. That's it. It's not a test or anything. And I'm not gonna. So I'm not gonna ask you if you want fries with that. So social presence is like the single biggest thing you can do. It's that one thing that can make the biggest impact for you professionally. So again, I mean, technical skills only take you so far. That's the whole premise of this new program, because I've seen a lot of people who are like technically equally skilled, but man, one takes off and other doesn't. Frankly, I've seen people who are not as technically skilled, right? So it's something else, and that something else, that X factor, if you will, anybody can do it. And so, of course, sometimes people have that blocks, like, oh, I'm not that. And my friends, that's not true. So the odd thing is, so now we're in story mode because you're not giving Power BI questions, is I'm going to say this and you're going to say, what? So I'm an introvert. Pause, dramatic pause. Now I know there's a delay, otherwise I would have made a few comments. But I'm an introvert, and people don't believe me. Like, Avi, come on, man. What are you talking about? I've seen you up in stages, and you don't stop talking. And so introvert and extrovert has nothing to do with this or getting up on a stage or anything. There are very introverted people who are extremely good up on stage. Take James Whitaker. I mean, he is such an inspiration. Works for Microsoft, but he's such a legend. If you've heard him speak at any time, man, you're gonna be like bowled over. He's just stunningly amazing. He's an introvert, and he shared that. And so he teaches classes inside Microsoft. So I was lucky enough to participate in there, and he shared that and he talked about it, right? So it has nothing to do with that. It's just a series of steps that you need to do. And of course, you're gonna have your own style. You're not gonna be like somebody. I'm not gonna be like Tony Robbins. I'm gonna be me. So the key is to be you and still pick up those skills, do the kind of stuff, right? Which gives you that X factor, which gives you that impact. And I'm not saying you need to get up on a stage and start talking. I'm just using that as an example. But coming back to that introvert extrovert thing, that only has to do with energy. All right, so stay with me for that one. Now, I can get up on a stage and talk. And man, I mean, if I'm talking Power BI, it's like awesome, right? But at the end of the day or the end of the hour, I feel exhausted. So when I go to conferences, I've often just given my stuff, and then I go and curl up in my bed and I draw the blinds. So it's right. So the way I see it, introverts, you can still do that. There's no rules saying that you can't do this, you can't do that. You can still do that, but there'll always be an energy draw for you. It'll draw you down, and then you would need to replenish it using whatever ways work for you. So for introverts, our energy goes up when I like curl up with a book or something, So that me time. So yeah, so you get your energy back up. So you approach that way. I plan that way. But that has nothing to do with what I do. So again, that's just one example. And people have, and again, I talk to so many people on these breakthrough calls, and you have these blocks inside of you. And of course, they don't look like blocks because for you, they are perfectly rational reasons for not doing something. So for example, one person who was talking about, Avi, I've been in this industry for all my life. That means I can't do anything else. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then we talked about some examples, and man, there are such amazing students in the course. So Loretta Sue, hopefully you're still on. So I think it was you, right, who loves quilting. And she said, Power BI is like quilting. And of course that's not something that I would ever say, but she talked about, hey, quilting, you're looking for patterns and this and that, and that's what I do in Power BI. And I'm like, wow. And I've heard this from other folks. Now, of course, you've heard Michael Stanton, the one and only amazing Michael Stanton with $1 billion dashboard. You remember that? And he had been a professional ballet dancer, all right, and a Buddhist monk for many years, like not a joke, not like he stepped into the thing, right? So, and I asked him, how does that shape what he does now with Power BI? And he shared that. He was so generous, and so imagine the life of a ballet dancer, and you don't freaking give up. Yeah, so he says, yeah, if I'm stuck somewhere, I don't give up. I just keep going, right? You can't fail if you don't give up. Simple as that. I mean, a lot of people, like, they start businesses and stuff, and the first few years sometimes can be hard, and they just throw in the towel, and things would have turned out, and you say, oh man, I tried that didn't work. Well, it could have worked out if you just kept going. So he brings that to Power BI, and then the Zen from the being a Buddhist monk. He's like, yeah, when a customer is upset or something like that, I can stay calm. And that's good, because that's when you think rationally. The point I'm trying to make is that you can do anything you want, right? So, so don't let any BS stop you in your head, all right? Now, having said that, what I'll also say is you can do anything you want, yes, but you can't do everything, all right? So watch out for that one, right? So yeah, it's better to have a focus. Now, there was a point where I was getting really panicked about the whole Power BI thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I call myself the Power BI Pro. I gotta know everything. And if you notice, the field has just exploded because there's these offshoots. You know, there's Power Flow, Power Apps, and even Power BI is like now there's the server side and Azure analysis. And I was like, man, it just felt like a panic attack. And I'm glad I ran into the one and only Mr. Excel, Bill Jelen. And he was at a conference. He's so hilarious if you've attended any of his trainings. It's like one joke after the other. You don't even realize where you're learning. It's through the jokes or in between the jokes, but you learn a lot, but you're always laughing. So he walked out, and I don't know if he was talking to me or somebody else, but he said, I don't know Excel. And then I'm like, what? Dude, you're Mr. Excel. And he said, I don't know all of it. And then he shared this whole story about how even now, to this day, almost I think he said every training he goes to, there's always somebody in the crowd who teaches him something, and yeah, so there's a lot. So just carve out kind of your niche. Be you. Bring something to Power BI. The last thing you want is to really just be a Power BI professional. I know my program is named that. It's a 6 Figures Power BI Professional, but yeah, you don't want to be like, hey, if you need help with Power BI, I'm the guy, because man, you're gonna get eaten up. So we probably have folks here from India on the call, and I've been watching the trends on my YouTube channel. United States was like up here in number of subscribers. India's caught up. So yeah, it's and of course it's gonna change the dynamic, but all you have to do to future-proof yourself is just combine it with something else, something businessy, right? So and the more niche down you get, the better. Okay, cool. So let's see if there are any questions. Otherwise, I'll keep talking. Can you recommend any tips or link for the consulting analytics business world? I'm not really sure. Like, you're just trying to. I probably wouldn't, because my thing is Power BI, man. You know, Power BI and now beyond, right? So the newest thing I'm doing is that 6 Figures Power BI Professional. That's like, you got your technical skills, but then how do you get to that big success? And why do we care about big success? Because there's big impact. That's why I care about it. My goal is to reach 1 million users. The way I'm going to do it is to impact those 1,000 people who are going to each impact 1,000 more. So yeah, that's me. So general consulting analytics. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure what you want to talk about. Consulting. So of course, in that program, I'm teaching them how they can set up a successful consulting or training business. So I have thoughts about that, lots and lots of them, and I can share it. I would be happy to share some on the call. So tell me a little bit more. Prashant is saying, I think I overcomplicated the measures with diffs, filters, contexts, and relationships. Okay, yeah, just try the simple version, see if it works. Lord, I did have it right. So you are the quilting person. So she's saying in quilting, take large pieces of fabric and cut them into smaller sizes, put them back together in a beautiful quilt. That is Power BI, isn't it, my friends, right? You know, you start with this big data set and it's like, well, what about this? What about this? And you just create this beauty. This, oh my gosh, I wonder if somebody, because right now the word that struck me was kind of it's like a symphony. So no, I'm not a composer, but yeah, it definitely feels like that. It's just like you're creating a beautiful piece of music or art. So I had mentioned this on an earlier call. There's a movie. There's a movie. In the movie A Beautiful Mind. Scene. There's this scene, and man, that I love that one. Hey, you want to watch it together? Let's watch it together. Oh, dang it! Don't show me an ad.
This is an ad for a project management tool called Monday.com. This is what it looks like, and this is what it feels like.
All right, so yeah, there's this. He's looking at these numbers, and oh yeah, and they start whispering to him. Oh my gosh, look at that. Right, so right, he's just staring at it, and he sees something that others do not see, you know? And then he comes up with an answer. He's like, give me a piece of paper. And he just stands there. I feel like that when I'm modeling, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I see dead people now. Like I see this shape comes in my head. I look at the data and I'm dreaming this shape. And yeah, so yeah. Hey, it's not always that cool. There are days when I'm frustrated. All right, cool. Loretta Sue says, in accounting, you take large data sets, slice and dice to make a beautiful report. Aha! Oh, wow! So Loretta Sue was in a training with Bill Jenner, and she taught him something. Yeah, that's cool. Steve says there is a link between computer programming and music. Elvis Costello was a computer programmer. That's pretty cool. All right, guys. So hey, all right. So hey, enough chatting. Let's get back to work, huh? How about it? But yeah, hey, I love this part too. So that's great. It's okay. So hey, we're gonna meet next week. And by the way, I did want to share something really exciting. So guys, I've shared it with some of the folks. Like this whole 6 Figures Power BI Professional, and we have 10 amazing members, and I'm going to be helping them. But part of me was like, who's helping whom? Because it's almost like I've never felt more alive than this. It's just been fire. So we had big plans in our team meeting, and definitely Marianne on our team. She's been really focused on this, and this is what she's going to be bringing to the table. Let's see, what's the time? Oh shoot! Oh, I blew past a meeting. All right, guys, I'll bail really quick. But what I wanted to say was that. Talk Power BI, we're gonna make it like a format, more structured. We're gonna have, like, we call this one the classic Talk Power BI, where it's just Q&A. But we're gonna do panels, which we've done in the past. We're gonna have guest experts, and then we're gonna do like a spotlight where somebody just shares the dashboard they've built, the model they've built, and things like that. So yeah, that's coming soon. And of course, as I said earlier, in March, we're going to be doing that real Power BI project. Okay, so I'm late for the meeting, forgot all about it. But I'll talk to you guys next week, if not sooner. Take care. Bye. Steve, as always, man, thank you so much.